The excitement is building and the tension is palpable, and 8 teams have become 4. It's the Mazda Brisbane Premier League 01 semi-final time. Second playing third, the Darling Downs versus the Northern Kings, exclusively and live to KO. My name is Grant O'Hara and I'm joined in commentary by Mark Alexander. Good morning to you, Mark.
And what a very good morning it is, Grant O'Hara. Here we are at the Redlands Cricket Ground, an absolute majestic piece of land here, nestled not far from the Brisbane city, where the inaugural BPL continues to come to life, Grant. It's been an amazing concept, but here we are. It's finals time. It's the middle of September. There's other codes, but this is more important, Grant. Well, this is it.
That's right. The Darling Dingoes finished the rounds with 5 wins from their 6 matches with 25 points, and the Northern Kings finished their 6 matches with 20 points after 4 wins. Mark, players to watch for the Dingoes.
I was a little bit worried about this because I know a few are under injury cloud, but I have to go with their rock, Sam Truloff, state player. He's cool head, very, very well experienced. 233 runs at an average of 46, striking at 155. Not many 6s and 4s compared to some other boys around the comp, but he is an absolute rock. I go to him. And just keep an eye out for Michael Top, a little big boy, all-rounder, could go a bit silly as well. So the Dingoes also will be captained by their local hero, a real classy all-rounder, and Steve McGiffin, been around the traps for too long. He'll lead the boys really well. Grant, what about your Northern Kings? Who are you tipping to sort of stand out?
Yeah, well, I think it's Josh Brown, taken all before him in this tournament. He's the leading run scorer with 243 runs at an average of 81. 5 innings, 2 not outs. He's got a strike rate of 225. 100, 150, 19 sixes and 13 fours. So he's got more sixes than fours in this competition. 148 of his runs in boundaries. Competition's leading 6 hitter. And an interesting fact about him, he uses a £2.13 Cooper bat, which he makes himself. I did see him just before the game. He's got an injured left hand. He got hit last week. It's a little bit swollen, but he said he'll be right. He'll be out there opening the batting for the Kings anytime soon. The local hero, Andrew Godey, is out injured, and the Kings today will be captained by wicketkeeper Tom Healy.
Oh, we all know that name, Tom Healy. Just looking at the conditions, though, Grant, I'm not too sure we could have a more perfect start to a spring day here in Brisbane. Weather currently is 18 degrees. We're looking at topping out around 24 later on today. The slight wind just coming over our back of our shoulder here, Grant, but the sun is out, not a whispery cloud in the distance, but an absolute magical day here and at the EWE Wood Reserve, Peter Burge Oval here at Redlands. So
yeah.
You had a look at the pitch out there, Grant?
I did, and I spoke to Chris Hepburn, the groundsman. Very happy with the wicket. There's just a sort of a light covering of grass, but it's a very firm wicket. They scored 300 runs here last week. I can't believe just how beautiful that outfield is looking. What a magnificent facility out here at Redlands.
Carpet, Grant, carpet. We see the umpires Graham Hogan and umpires Daniel Ralston heading out to the pitch to the middle right now. So we're obviously only minutes away as the Dingoes take the field with Steve McGiffin leading them out. Here we are. The toss, Grant, was won by the Dingoes and they elected to field.
Yeah, Tommy Healy called heads. And it landed the other way. It landed tails. And speaking to Ian Healy earlier, he said, look, the preference probably was going to be to maybe bowl first if you were the Northern Kings. They like to get their bowlers out using whatever conditions there are early. Like it's 7:30, isn't it? So yeah. There might be a little bit in it early, but it's going to really flatten out during the day. So it would have been nice for the Kings to have had a bowl, but you know, Steve's elected to bowl first, and it looks like Josh Brown is heading to. He's going to the strikers end, I think.
Yeah, so
we'll pick that up.
Yeah, Josh Brown and Jack Cooper opening the batting, 2 right-handers. So you'll find that the Dingoes will open up with their left-arm orthodox bowler, Savine Nananakara, just spinning away from the right-hander, just trying to create a little bit of doubt early. That's what they'll be hoping for, either an early wicket or just a steal and over straight up, only a few runs coming from it. So it will be interesting to see how this first 4 overs does roll out in the 4 over power play, Grant. But yeah, just a special mention to the scorers, Rick Woods and Liam as well, doing a job up there. But here we are. It is Savine opening the bowling.
And Mark, we are side onto the wicket, but he can't see exactly the direction at the moment. We will pick that up when we get our screen. But Savine looks like he's going to be bowling left arm around the wicket, and Josh Brown is taking strike at the northern end, so he'll be coming in from the southern end.
BPL. Let's go.
And a nice steady start. You can just feel the tension out there. You know, they're just getting those nerves out of the road early. Landed it and just patted away there by Brown. As we know with Josh, doesn't really like to have to run too often if he can hit boundaries.
Well, that's proof in the pudding with his stats.
Down the wicket. Big shot. That's 6. That's the first 6 of ball 3. Great start. That £2.13 bat by Josh Brown. Couple of paces down the wicket. Follow through. 6 straight down the ground.
Yeah, Josh Brown only taking 2 balls to have a little cider there, Grant, and that's all he probably needed. He probably wanted to go first ball, but Savine under a little bit of pressure early.
And bowled. And bowled.
What
a start by Savine.
That's a massive wicket, Grant. Josh Brown is the kingpin, isn't he? He's the number 1 man that the Dingoes would have been going for. Well, if we haven't mentioned that their captain, Andrew Goad, is actually out injured, so he was there, you know, the 2 Bash brothers right at the top of the innings, but Josh Brown, I tell you what, they could not believe, the Dingoes, that they get him cheaply for 6 runs.
That's a big out. That's a very big wicket. My player to watch on the way out. But you nearly called it. Well, you did call it. I reckon he just decided to dart that one in. It was the arm ball. It was too close to cut. Brown steps back and bowled.
Savine then in the car, the left-arm orthodox spinner from South in the BPL, netting 6 wickets at an average of 14 with an economy rate of a pretty tidy 5.4. That's pretty good in any sort of T20 competition, so clearly he's very tight. We might have had a broken bail, did we, amongst all that, with the pure heat from Savine. Umpire, I think that's Graham. No, that's Daniel Ralston running off the oval and coming back on.
And the new batter is Scott Palumbo. He plays for the Gold Coast Dolphins. He's had a really good tournament so far. He'll now look to just settle into his innings. But a great start by the Dingoes.
They'd take that every day of the week, wouldn't they? Hit me for 6, I'll get you at next ball. Thank you.
Oh, play and miss.
Lovely bit of keeping there from Faber. Nice bit of club work.
Nerves by Palumbo there. Hitting his length.
Huge stride out there from Palumbo.
Terrific over. What a great over. 1 for 6. The Kings after the first over.
Now, interestingly enough, Zach Beveridge will be taking the new ball with Savine, so spin to win, Grant. Twin spins coming in. Maybe they were just looking to try and get that one away from Josh Brown, and they've got him early. So whether or not Zach was always in their plans, I'm not too sure with Josh Brown being out there coming into him, but Zach's certainly a very capable spinner playing first grade for West. He's got 7 wickets for the tournament so far, so he's right up there in the top 10. So
yeah, clearly with these big hitters, take the pace off the ball. Take the pace off this new ball early, make the batter do all the work. Great start by the Dingoes.
So Jack Cooper's seen it all, hasn't he, from the other end, Grant?
He has, yeah.
It's a pretty good, entertaining 6 balls for the first semi-final of the Brisbane Premier League. 7:30 a.m. start. Hope everyone's up watching, enjoying. Short
and square cut away. Lovely shot. That will run over that carpet of an outfield that we got here at Redlands Cricket Club. And that's a boundary.
Yeah, that's just a lovely shot. That's just a loosener there from Zach, unfortunately. He just got over the ball, ripped it, but just dropped it a touch short. Cooper was able to just lean back very nicely. It was a lovely cut shot. We got a good angle from that one here.
A little bit of nerves early. That's understandable. Short again. Not quite taken full toll of there by Cooper.
Cooper was looking to put that into the grandstand. We've got 2 men out. The 2 men out in the power play, deep mid on and a deep mid wicket.
On one knee, down the slugger's corner, dive. Great stop.
That's Blake Maher down there at deep mid wicket.
Tremendous stop by Maher.
He just saved 2 runs. If his heart wasn't going already this morning, that will certainly get him pumping. So he's been directed by the skipper to just stay a little bit more straighter.
Oh!
That's a missed chance, unfortunately.
It is.
I think it is from our angle.
Yeah, we're square of the wicket here, and I think that may have been a missed chance.
Cooper going real hard. He's looking to go straight, which is always good, being that there's not too many straight.
Driving. Down to mid-off. Quick single. No, he's made that safely. Oh, I can just feel there's little nerves in the Northern Kings. They're going for the big shots. They're going for pushing that single there, which was on and made quite comfortably in the end.
Yeah, wonder with the little dynamics, with Godey out, how that plays on their mind, Grant. Does it sort of just sit in the back of their heads going, oh, geez, I wish, or do they just go out there and play on their instincts, free-flowing cricket? We'll see.
Little glide down to gully. Yeah, I think you're right there, Mark. The worst thing they can do is, we're saying we've got to go in there and replace Godey. Like, he's a very credentialed player. He's got a lot of experience. You don't want to go in and be Godey. You need to go in and play and be yourself. And obviously getting off to a flyer is absolutely critical in these T20s. And for the first 4 overs, you've only got 2 fielders out. And if we take a look at where they are, they're long on and deep mid-wicket. So there's plenty of opportunity on the offside.
And it's always an interesting ploy. Do you go big over the top, look for the boundaries, or do you just turn the strike over and just get your 6/7 and over early?
And that's what we're talking about. There's the opportunity, and that's 6. Lovely shot. Great shot, Jack. Just a couple of steps down the wicket. Freed his arms and over. That's close to long off. It's a 6.
It's a beautiful shot. Lofted, anything lofted cover drive or lofted mid-off in any format just looks amazing. Jack Cooper, the gold, playing for Sandgate Redcliffe, hitting 130 runs this tournament so far at an average of 26, striking at 190. So, look, he's the man, isn't he? He certainly could go real big.
Square cut. Out to cover, no run. 1 for 19 the score. Cooper on 13. Coming again. The big wicket of Brown. Out for 6.
Blake Maher seeing a hell of a lot of action with the ball. The ball seems to be following him early.
Gone again. Great shot. Fielder coming around. That's 6.
That's a massive shot. That has cleared the side screen. That's gone as straight as an arrow. Well, that we can tell from this square leg advantage. That's a beautiful shot. Just advancing. Great use of the feet to Savine. And Cooper. A couple of 6s in this over. The Kings, I don't think they've ever died wondering, have they, Grant?
No. And he's got good pedigree, Jack. His brother Tom plays in the BPL, played for South Australia. He's clearly very talented family. And we've gone looking for that ball.
Looks like Jack must have eaten all the wheat bix, mate. He's a bit more size than Tom, hasn't he? So
he has. He's a really solid player. Now, I think we have lost the ball, and they've got one of the conditions of this competition is that we turn if we don't look too long for the ball, even though it's got that smart chip in it. Yeah, it's got this fantastic smart chip, thanks to Michael Kasprovich's company, Sport Core.
That's measuring the revs and the rev, you know, all the data.
Speed, what it also does is in and out of the wicket as well, which is new data for cricket.
It's and obviously teams are having only 80 minutes to bowl their 20 overs, so critical that the balls are retrieved or found early. Otherwise, they can get penalised if they don't complete their over rate. Savine.
Bowled him. He's done it again. What a delivery of the big wicket just when we thought he was getting set. Went back to cut, and that is our 2 wickets now down for the Kings.
In very similar fashion, Grant. Obviously, this time, Savine hit for 2 sixes and then picking up the wicket, but an identical ball nearly, short of a length, in at the stumps. The batsman doing exactly the same shot, leaning back, not there to cut, trying to make room, takes the wickets again. So 2 amazing wickets, really, Savine. He might be just in the grocery aisle buying his wickets today, Grant, after a couple of sixes. So
yeah, look what confidence he's got now. He threw one up, and he's exactly almost a play again, exactly the same thing. He's thrown the ball up, he's gone for a big 6, and then he's darted it in with the arm, and that was the end. That was the end of Jack Cooper. Next batter in, Sam Wilson. Sam plays for Norths. Left-hander, very adaptable player, and he's going to need to adapt now because he can hit a big ball, but when he needs to dig in, he can dig in, and he's going to just need to do that to consolidate this innings for the Kings. 2 for 25.
1 ball left in the over. Sam Wilson. We've got obviously the left-handed, right-handed thing, which always, makes things interesting for the fielding team. So we've got Blake Maher to deep mid-wicket with the deep mid on Zach Beveridge. So let's see what Savine can do with the last ball of his second over.
And what does he do to the left-hander now? Is he staying around the wicket, or does he go over? He's around the wicket. Oh, there's a mix-up here. There's a nerve. Oh, was he in? Sam then hesitated and then took a couple of steps. There was a big mix-up between the 2 players, and he's just got his bat into the crease.
I think there's a little bit of thought that he may have had his bat up
in the air. Yeah. I agree. It looked like he was in his ground, but he was looking back at his partner to see what was going on there, and that could well be. What a great shot at the stumps.
Oh, I think he just had his bat down, looking at the replay ever so slightly, but it looked a little bit laxy-daisy, didn't he, Grant?
Captain Steve McGiffin?
Yeah, asking a question, Steve. He's like, he looked a little bit like, gee, that was a bit closer than what we thought. That was Steve McGiffin, number 6.
So they've stayed with their slow spin attack. Zach's going to have his second. So they've bowled their spinners in this first power play.
Yeah, I wonder if they've kept Zach on with the left-hander, Wilson. So spinning away from him.
Nice little glide there by Wilson.
What are you thinking here, Grant? Kings 2 for the run rate's pretty handy, but 2 wickets down in the power play.
And don't forget, there's another 2 overs they can claim during the innings, and you need wickets in hand to make the most of that second power play. So they get to call that whenever they like. The batting side calls it, so we'll keep an eye on that for you.
After the 10th over, of course.
Yes, got to be after the 10th over. Shot by Sam Wilson out to the deep mid-wicket. And this is what Sam can do. He can consolidate. He can, as I said, very adaptable player. Head down now and then accumulate and have run wickets in the shed for a really big run chase post 10 overs.
Well, if he can, he has to, Grant, because, for the Kings, he has to right now.
Driving, Blomo, in good form. Well fielded at cover.
Yeah, we sort of forget these boys are all playing grade cricket on Saturday, Grant. They're all running around playing the 50-over comp. So they've got plenty of cricket under their belts already.
Yes.
Zach Beveridge, former Moree boy from down New South Wales, did his schooling through Toowoomba Grammar, was captain of the Toowoomba Grammar first 11 a number of years ago. Doing his trade. Was it half a chance? Wasn't it there, Grant? But
driven down there to Toulon. I think it might have just bounced there, but good over. Obviously, the advantage in having these quicks, these slower bowlers bowling at this stage, they get through those overs quickly. All of a sudden, we're first 4 are down, so we can now push our players out.
Yeah, I talk about those spinners coming on. You're trying to steal an over, Grant. You know, you're trying to sort of say, yeah, we'll get through 4 or 5 balls. You've only got 3 or 4 singles, and all of a sudden they're looking for a boundary. Try and create the batsman to make a mistake.
Yeah, good point.
So Savine continuing on, he might just bowl his full straight here, which wouldn't be such a bad thing at all, because they're clearly on 2 wickets down. He's bowling well. He's been here for 3 sixes, but I think you take the 2 wickets with the 3 sixes any day of the week.
Definitely.
Especially those 2 wickets.
A little bit of air. I've really enjoyed watching his work. He's flighting the ball beautifully. If he goes for a big 6, then he's got another ball up his sleeve. Well bowled.
Oh, this is a great start to the over. When you get 2 dot balls, the amount of pressure that just starts building on the batsman, they'll feel it. 3 dot balls.
3 dot balls, and there's a theory from Holly Furling that something always happens on the 4th dot. Now, let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. The 4th dot, 4th ball. Just down, push down.
Well, it's probably not what we thought or expected, Grant.
No, nothing spectacular, Holly. We'll keep working on your theory, but that's I like it. I like it. Just a little nudge, and I think that's more about the condition of the game. The Kings really just need to consolidate for an over or 2 here now. Sam's had a look out at this square leg boundary. Driving. Well bowled.
Oh, what an amazing over here from Savine, continuing on his electric form in this semi-final. Last ball of the over, only 1 coming from it. Can he close out the over?
Little nudge. Off his pads. Down for 1, and what a good over. He'll be very happy with that.
2 runs from the over, Grant. That's a great start. I'm going to slip out of the commentary box just for a moment, Grant.
Yep. And we've got Slater Asnakar, the injured Gold Coast Wave Riders player. Great to have one of our players with us on our commentary. How are you, Slater?
Yeah, good, thank you, Grant. Thanks for having me. What a lovely morning it is out here at Redlands.
You can't get any better. Brisbane morning, early September, cricket being played, high-level cricket being played. And it looks like McGiffin is going to bowl Beveridge again too. And why not when they're on top? Lovely punch there by Sam Wilson. Down to long off. Just a single.
I've been super impressed with the work of the Dingoes spinners early here. Savine and Beveridge have been fantastic. The Kings obviously not taking a backward step, still looking to take the game on. Certainly been some engaging cricket the first 5 and a bit overs.
Well flighted in. I watched Palomo bat in the earlier rounds, and very good player. Really controlled player. I think he will look to anchor this innings now. Nudge it around. Beautifully flighted. Gee, he's bowling a good spell.
He's been really good, hasn't he, Beveridge here? Just changed his pace really well, I think. I think from a Kings perspective, these 2 are the perfect men for this situation. As you said, both can sort of control this middle part of the innings.
A little bit quicker. Very watchful Wilson. Just tapping that out to short mid-wicket.
Taking his time here, Beveridge.
Beautifully flighted. Little chip over cover. 2 runs to Wilson. Very controlled shot there by Wilson. He had that under control. And I love it when spinners throw it above the eye line.
Yeah, he's been brave. He's been very brave. I think you have to be as a spinner in T20 cricket sometimes. You can get too into that habit of just driving the ball fast and into the wicket. So it's been refreshing to see Zach change his pace as well as he has. He's a very crafty operator. He's a fantastic white ball spinner for Wests in Premier Cricket as well. So he's certainly no stranger to a situation like this, and he's showing his experience now.
I like what you say there, Slater, about varying the pace, because as a batter, when you're trying to get into a rhythm, it's nice if the ball just keeps coming on and you can sort of predict how it's going to come to you. But these spinners haven't they come into this T20 format because they've got so much variety. Some of them say they've got 20 different balls they're bowling now, so it's hard for a batter to get into rhythm. Now we've got to change a bowler here. Arian Jane.
Another spinner here. The spin's proved effective so far, so the McGiffin clearly keeps wanting to run with that theory, and why not? It's worked really well so far, 2 for 34 after 6. Arian will be quite similar. He'll look to change his pace.
Driving. Plenty of cover here now. Fielders, only 4 required inside the circle at this stage. Nice drive there by Scott. Scott Paloma, he'll be looking to give the strike to Sam Wilson, because Sam, once he does get in, he hits a big ball. Could take this game into another level for the Kings. Big shot. Sam, one down on one knee. That's 6. Over Slogger's corner.
You picked it very well there, Grant. Just picked one that was in his area there. He's very, very effective on that slog sweep, Sam. Played with and against Sam a lot over the years, and that's one of his go-to shots against the spin. Once he feels as though he's got the pace of the wicket, he just frees his arms, and he's a very, very strong lad. So,
score 2 for 34. And a little quicker, following the Savine model there, where threw that one up, went for 6, and then darted that one in. But Sam Wilson was all over that. In the air, this is coming our way. That's another 6 onto the netball court. Wonderful shot there by Sam Wilson, down on one knee. No boundary is big enough when he really gets going, Slater.
Oh, he got all of that, didn't he, Grant? Got absolutely all of that. He clearly likes this matchup here with Arian Jane, perhaps just sliding it almost into that slog sweep, really. Sam definitely fancies his chances hitting that way. We're in the hot spot here, out here, aren't we?
I think we are. What does he do now? Does he, from a bowling perspective, what are you looking?
I think you've really got to work hard to get out of your over here with a dot or a 1. I think you're probably trying to throw it a bit more outside his eye line here, maybe wide of off stump, just to try and stay away from that slog sweep.
And that's out. That's bowled. The trend continues as the ground announcer says. That's another wicket. Well called.
One shot too many there, wasn't it? Arian's just gone a little bit quicker there. It slid on just underneath the bat there of Wilson, it looks like. That one not quite there for the slog sweep, unfortunately, that time.
They've really bowled beautifully, the Dingoes spinners. They've had a plan. They've not been afraid to vary their bowling. They've thrown that up. They've seen them go for 6, and then they've really had that plan to dart one in, and that clearly wasn't there to hit.
3 for 47 now in the set, 1 ball off the 7th over. It's not too often, I don't think, in T20 cricket you'd see exclusively spin for the first 7 overs of a T20 innings.
No. And now Tom Healy, wicketkeeper, captain today with Andrew Godey out of the Kings team. That's a big out for the Kings.
A big out, yeah. Goad has been fantastic for Valleys over a long period of time in Premier Cricket. Obviously has experience at the next level. Him and Brown in the preliminary rounds up the top together were just so destructive.
Healy to face his first ball. He's had a good tournament, hasn't had a lot of opportunity.
He's another experienced campaigner, Tom. He's been around for a long time now.
Lovely start. And that's a dot ball. And that's big wickets. We've had some big wickets there. Players that have really performed well in this competition, in Joshua Brown and Sam Wilson, and Jack Cooper looked like he could have taken the attack apart. But now we have 3 for 47.
7 overs gone. Just seems as though every time the Kings look to accelerate, they lose a wicket.
Yeah, and they've, as I said, they've got that 2-over power play up their sleeve, and this now becomes strategic when you actually call that. It has to be after the 10th over, of course, but when you call that, you've got to make sure you've got wickets in hand so you can make the most of it.
Absolutely, Grant. I think set batters as well is another key thing to have. You definitely want to have one, if not 2 set batters in at that period in time. When you take those 2 overs, you can take maximum toll.
It looks like the Sunshine Coast player Blake Maher is taking up the attack, and here's our first look at faster bowlers. Driving, sweeper, and that's just a single. But a nice shot by Belomo.
He climbed into that, didn't he? Climbed into that. Definitely interested to see here whether Seam just skids onto the bat a little bit more with the early morning dew. Perhaps that was the Dingoes' theory by bowling so much spin early on.
Driving, and nice solid start there by Healy. He will look to consolidate now for the Kings.
Absolutely. Tom's a very technically correct cricketer. He'll definitely, even in this situation, look to give himself 10 or 15 balls while still having a lot of positive intent to score. I think you'll see Palombo look to accelerate now that the seamers have come on.
Playing a miss. Yeah, Tom opened the batting a lot in A-grade.
Yeah.
He actually scored a big 100 in an A-grade final a couple of years back. As you say, highly credentialed, played a couple of years Australian under-19. He's played a test against England at that level. And he'll thoroughly enjoy captaining today.
Yeah, he's very technically astute.
Little single, rotate the strike. Lovely stuff by Maher.
Yeah, he's just come in and hit a good length, hasn't he? But that's going to be a key, I think, for the Kings throughout the middle period of this game here, is how well they can rotate the strike in amongst looking for the boundaries as well. I think it can be a little bit hard sometimes when you lose those early wickets. It can become a little bit dot or four. That's going to be a key thing, I think, for these two, to just keep rotating the strike.
Little dab, down a deep third man. Paloma under control. Nice line by Maher. And that's the 50. 50 up for the Kings. Just repeating, the Dingoes won the toss and chose to bowl. It's looking like a decent decision at the moment. Full ball, leg side. They'll look for 2. He's in and out of the crease quickly. Only 1, but pressure on the field. And look at that, just a little bit of pressure, and that's probably the first fumble we've seen from the Dingoes today.
Yeah, Beveridge made good ground to the ball there quickly, but wasn't quite clean into the hands. The Kings will certainly be looking to do more of that, hitting the ball at the sweepers and really putting them under pressure, trying to steal a couple of 2s. It's little things like that that can really turn the momentum in T20 cricket, and then you find a few boundaries in between, and the game starts to get back on your terms, Grant.
Look, the run rate's not too bad. It's just we've seen wickets fall, and you're thinking advantage bowling team. We've got a new bowler coming in for the Dingoes. Michael Top, I think it is, number 8, Michael Top. It is from the Ipswich Hornets.
Hits a big cricket ball too, Michael Top, when he bats. Look out for him later on in the Dingoes innings.
Good start. He'll be happy with that start. Great line, length.
I think certainly in the early parts of these early games with a bit of moisture around it, certainly it's almost coming in and hitting that first class length. As a seam bowler, I don't think you need to do too much different.
Little drive there by Healy. Down to long on. Just a single. He's got an interesting action, don't you think, Toppy? He sort of gets to the crease and then it's almost a little sling a little bit.
Yeah, there is a bit of a sling there, isn't there? Certainly, perhaps in a 50-over game with an older ball, he might be able to extract a bit of reverse swing.
Just on leg. A little pedal there by Palomo. One thing, what do you think about this slide? Like these two players are fairly similar. They're not, one's not a real big hitter. They both work the ball, got terrific techniques. Driving, thick edge, down the third man, picked up. They'll get 2, yeah, quite comfortably in the end. Good running by Healy.
It's a nice throw out there from Maher. Again, we've seen him in the action a lot early on there, right over the bails. I certainly think we'll look to see Palumbo accelerate a bit more once he does get into his innings. He's certainly taking his time here early on, given the situation.
Well controlled by Healy, just a little dab there onto the onside. They seem to have a nice understanding. No, Scott Palumbo, he works in education care too. He's a Gold Coast Dolphins player. Just a young player, but he's had a good tournament. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's one of those ones that'll like to give himself a bit of time early on in the innings, but then...
Little push and quick single, and that's well taken.
Good running. Yeah, Palumbo, he certainly can surprise a few people, I think, with his power later on in the innings once he gets in. He's just very smart, I think, about the way he's going about it, particularly in this situation. It's certainly an important period for the Kings here to consolidate their innings.
I think Michael Topp will be happy with that nice steady start. Coming in after the spin, well, quartet in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first 7 overs of the innings, wasn't it? So 3 for 56 now after 9 overs. Certainly advantage Dingoes at this stage, but the Kings just looking to consolidate.
Maher to take up the attack again from the northern end. The outside off stump there and a square cut that could have quite easily been snicked to the keeper.
Maher's been very effective in Premier Cricket for Sunshine Coast for a number of years now. These all-rounders, I think, in this form of the game, Grant, are invaluable. These guys that can bowl some good overs and also slog them.
Driving, square. The deep cover will come in. They'll look for... No, yeah, there wasn't 2 in that. Good runners, these two. They'll run hard. They'll put pressure on the field. They've started that way and they'll continue.
Absolutely. I think particularly to the longer pockets here at Redlands, you can pinch a few 2s. Dingo sweepers will certainly be onto that.
Well bowled. Lovely line. Let's take a look at our field, Slater. We've got the man at fine leg inside the circle. We've got a deep third man, a deep cover. We've got a long off, a long on, and a deep mid-wicket protecting the boundary.
Yeah, he looks as though he's just trying to bowl pretty full and straight here, Maher, I think, with this sort of field.
It's gone square, and that's And that's picking up one straight to the fielder inside the circle. Well, so well run.
Yeah, it was a good piece of running that from Palumbo. He was off straight away. He identified that he could definitely get one there. It's important to have support from the non-strikers, and I think when you're batting in this form of the game, so that was excellent there from Palumbo with his backing up to be able to call Healy through.
Driving. Great line and length there by Ma. Paloma just picking up that single. Happy to do so at this stage.
Yeah, I think these two will be building towards that power surge now. Would be an ideal situation for the Kings if both of these two were in and set when they call for those 2 overs. So whilst it doesn't dictate everything you do, I think it will certainly be in the back of these two's minds to try and take this innings as deep as they can.
Slow ball ramp over the wicket keeper's head. Lovely shot there by Healy. Just got inside the ball. One of the shots that has really evolved in this T20 format, and that was beautifully executed. I'm going to hand over to Mark Alexander. I'll be back later, Slater.
Those lovely skills there from Healy on that ramp. That's the risk you run, I think, with fine leg up. Spoiled what was actually quite a good over there from Blake Moore as we welcome Mark back.
G'day, Slater. Nice to meet you, mate, and good to be in the commentary box with you. It was a beautiful shot. As you say, couldn't quite close out the over, Slater, but a tidy one in that. Been bowling quite well. They're just going at roughly around 6s at the moment, so, you know, as you say, building towards that power play. Interesting to hear your thoughts, Slater, as we just see Top coming in.
Oh, that would have been an absolute screamer there.
Nick King. Oh, wow. At point, flying horizontally to his right. Got a hand on, probably saved 3 runs there in the end, Slater.
He did, didn't he? I think if he had clung on to that one, the debate would have been over for the catch of the tournament there straight away.
You would have seen a few.
Yeah.
Interesting to hear your thoughts, Slater, as a current player. When you've got 2 batsmen, you're 3 wickets down, you can take the power play now. Do you try and hold out as long as you can?
Certainly from our perspective with the wave riders, we've kind of left it up to the guys in the middle. We feel as though they're the best judge of the situation, and we rely a lot on feedback from them coming back to the dressing room as to, you know, that they might feel as though they get a good match up with a couple of bowlers, for instance, and our coaching staff have been very supportive of giving the guys in the middle the accountability if they feel as though they're ready and they can take that to do so.
Oh, beautifully bowled there by Top. Just pressing forward defence by Palumbo. He's just anchoring himself quite nicely out there in the middle at the moment, isn't he, Palumbo, with Healy?
Yeah, he's certainly building, that's for sure. I have seen him in Premier Cricket over the last couple of years get away to some explosive starts, but the situation here today, batting first early in the morning, is certainly very different. He's adjusted his innings really well accordingly, so that's another...
Just a little short, just a little holding the hand, short punch to cover. Smart cricket, Slater, isn't it?
He's
smart cricket.
Very smart operator, as is Healy. I think these two are the perfect two for this situation at the moment for the Kings.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, the boundaries are well important, but to keep those dot balls at a real minimum is something that they're doing really quite well the last couple of overs. So
absolutely, Mark. It's so important to keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Oh, another ramp, and got him! This time, didn't come off. Tom Healy attempting that little ramp, didn't quite get all of it. Was it a little change up there?
I reckon it was, Mark.
Yeah.
I reckon a little slower ball from Top there. That's great skills from him. Healy was obviously looking for pace on the ball there to try and lap that over the man that was inside the ring at 45. Didn't get the pace he was looking for and ended up spooning a catch to Faber behind the stumps.
Yeah, Faber will take those catches all day long, wouldn't he, mate?
Absolutely. That's the wicketkeeper's dream there.
That's a beautiful piece of bowling there by Top. He's a bit of a sleeping, I call him a bit of a sleeping giant. He's a huge man anyway, but just talking to some of the Dingoes squad, he's just one of those guys. He's probably the nicest bloke in the world, isn't he, Toppy? And I think he's a former state shot put champion as well, so he's got a bit about him, but he just does his business, and I'm looking forward to watching him bat. Interesting to hear your comments about him with the bat later on. So, but doing a good job here with the ball for the Dingoes, bowled really quite nicely.
Absolutely, he's a hugely efficient operator in Premier Cricket for Ipswich Logan. I've had the privilege of playing against him a fair bit over the last couple of years, and you always know what you're going to get from him. You're going to get a contest, you're going to get good skills, and he's certainly a guy that can take the game away from you very quickly when he bats, and he's someone we're always wary of when we're playing against him.
So coming into the crease here for the Kings, I'm just trying to get out. I'm pretty sure it will be, is it Luke Pollock? Michael Topp, take a bow. The big man is on a hat-trick. What an incredible couple of balls here by Michael Topp. Followed up with just the perfect Yorker.
That was fantastic there. I reckon that would have tailed back late too. It just looked like it did him for pace.
What an incredible little over here. This is massive here for the Dingoes. They had a lightning start with 3 early wickets after a few sixes, but then to continually pick up wickets at key critical moments, like there's never really a bad time to take a wicket in T20, but to pick up 2 in a row, Slater. What's this do for the Kings now?
It's an absolute game changer, this, and it's certainly set the Kings back. We were just talking there about 2 set batters and potentially taking a power surge, but now they're probably going to have to rebuild for a little bit longer here. A lot more responsibility is going to fall on Scott Palumbo's shoulders now.
Oh, he's got a massive job, and that was Luke Pollock, unfortunately, returning back to the dressing sheds after not getting bat on ball. For a golden duck. And number 7 coming out for the Kings, number 5 is Indy Ranatunga. Indy Ranatunga, you got some information on him at all, Slater?
I think he hits a pretty clean cricket ball. I was watching him field last week, actually, when we played the Kings. He was an excellent fielder. He was patrolling one of the boundaries on the far side as well. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do here in conjunction with Palumbo. But, geez, what an over that was from Michael Topp. After nailing the slower ball, the ball before, to then absolutely nail the fast Yorker. That's great skills.
The sleeping giant has awoken, Michael Topp. Blake Maher, the ball is up, coming down in, dropped. Oh, the hands on the heads, says it all.
Yeah, that's Brendan McNay into the attack, actually. That would have been a wicket first ball. That would have been the ideal start for McNay from Souths. Chris Gillam, it was coming in there from deep cover and just couldn't quite cling on.
They're never easy, the ones running 4 down low, but Chris Gillam would expect to take them 99 times out of 100, I'm sure.
That would have been a team hat-trick too, Mark.
Team hat-trick. And I'm sure they would have celebrated pretty hard, Slater, as well. So
to take 3 wickets in a row at this stage of the game would have been an absolute game changer for the Dingoes.
Is that just a little bit of luck that the Kings needed? Just something, just anything at the moment, just to get him in the right direction?
Absolutely. I think Palumbo, quite obviously now, is the key wicket. So to have seen him back in the sheds would have been, I'm not going to say lights out for the Kings, but it certainly would have been a massive blow in their chances to set a defendable total here. So perhaps that is the stroke of luck that Palumbo and the Kings need.
5 for 70 after 11.2 overs. Big appeal, the finger raised by umpire Daniel Ralston. Wow, what a little passage of play here by the Darling Dingoes. The Kings just cannot get going here, Slater. Huge appeal, massive appeal. Everyone was up, and the deadly finger raised ever so slowly there.
Yeah, this is T20 cricket for you, Mark. The game has literally flipped on its head in the space of 4 balls.
Wow, oh wow, that is absolutely massive. Indy Ranatunga, LBW to Brendan McNay. Only facing 2 balls, unfortunately did not add to the score at all. The Dingoes are literally on fire right now. They are on the prowl, Slater. They are just sniffing it. They want more.
They're such a professional outfit, the Dingoes, stacked with some very, very good cricketers, and they're all showing their worth here so far in this first innings.
Yeah, they've got some, ex-state players filtered amongst them, played a bit of Big Bash as well, haven't they? A lot of these players sort of have played together as well in club stuff, in clubland. So I have spoken to a few of them, and they said, look, it's a good team, but they're all getting along really well. I know that's a bit of a catchphrase from time to time, but they said as a group they're just loving life and loving being around each other. So it's certainly showing out there. Even with the drop catch, heads are up, didn't matter, back into it. So
absolutely, you can never underestimate good team spirit, Mark.
And after all of that, I think the new batsman is Jack O'Neill. We even forgot to mention him as he's striding out to the crease. He's a big man, isn't he? He's big in the indoor cricket scene, isn't he?
Very tall man, Jack O'Neill, plying his trade currently for Valleys in Premier Cricket. Bowl some handy off-spin too. Look for him to potentially open the bowling for the Kings in the second innings.
Yeah, handy all-rounder possibly.
Geez, they're really up and about in the inner ring now, the Dingoes.
Well, they have the ability now to absolutely apply huge amounts of pressure. They probably don't need to stand on that ring as much, do they? They can actually be pouncing. You're absolutely cutting ones off and letting the batsman say, okay, well, if you want to have a crack, have a crack. This is a great over here by McNay. A couple of dot balls following the wicket. And that's just a real thick outside edge there by Jack O'Neill. Certainly not. There's a run out on here. Oh, I got a little bit excited there, seeing how far Jack O'Neill had to run.
Yeah, the throw was slightly wide out there from Gillam. If it had been a bit closer to the stumps, you never quite know. Only hindsight would be able to tell us. But fantastic over from McNay, another one who's been a very, very consistent performer in Premier Cricket for Souths. And you can just see the balance of this Dingo squad. They've got so many different cricketers who are very, very experienced, have applied their trade for a number of years, and they're definitely bringing out all their skills under pressure here.
Yeah, that's a beautiful over by McNay. Dot balls, a couple of singles, and a wicket. You know, you think you take that at any stage.
Now we've got a hat-trick ball. Michael Top, here we go.
Oh, he went for the big Yorker again. You can understand why.
Yeah, Scott Palumbo up to it on that occasion.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, the Dingoes, I'm sure they were all aware. I've got no doubt. They were definitely aware. Michael Top on a hat-trick. I don't know whether we've seen any hat-tricks in the tournament so far, Slater, but
I don't think we have.
I'll have to go to the rule book. Oh, not the rule book, the stats book. Outside edge again.
It would only be fitting, Mark, I think, that the first one would come on finals day, so
why not? Why not?
Add to the excitement.
I just can't believe how beautiful these grounds are and the condition that they're in.
It's a fantastic place to come and play cricket.
Oh, I can only imagine, Slater. Can only imagine. Jack O'Neill on strike. He'd be nervous. Just needs to get into the innings. Played and missed there by Jack, looking to flick that one through mid-wicket. There is a man out there at deep mid-wicket as well. Deep mid on, deep mid off. We've got a sweeper and a deep third man. So they're using their full options there with 5 fielders out, 4 inside the ring.
I think they can afford to now, Mark, with the excellent work they've done through the first half of this innings. The key thing now, there's a lovely shot that from O'Neill, punched down the ground. The key thing now, I think, for the Dingoes will just be to keep the momentum going in terms of deny Kings boundaries. They're going to have to execute really well in that power surge, but they've given themselves the ability to do that now by taking 6 wickets.
Yeah, 6 for 74, coming near to the end of the 13th over. Absolute dream start by the Dingoes. Oh, it's a slower change-up ball by Top, and that's a beautiful shot.
Lovely shot from Scott Palumbo there. Just rolled his wrists on it and manoeuvred it past backward point for 4. It's a much-needed boundary for the Northern Kings.
Yeah, and Top varying his pace, which we know is critical of part of the T20 game, but Palumbo just up to the task here. You know, no pace on the ball, but was still able to find the boundary as it just rolled over the carpet-like outfield ever so smoothly.
Yeah, it was great use of his hands there just to beat that man at backward point and still manage to beat Beveridge in the deep.
Yeah, Beveridge, the only man wearing the classic white floppy by the look of it as well. So, you know, obviously sun smart, the young man.
I don't think I've ever seen him play cricket without one, ever. So.
Oh, smart cricket there. 4 and 1, like, you know, I don't know that you boys talk about that, following up a boundary with another scoring option. Is it something that is spoken about? Just take your one, you've got 5 off 2.
Massively, yeah. It's obviously T20 is very much about boundary hitting, but it's also about what you do in between. If you can limit your dot ball percentage, you go a long way towards winning the game. And certainly from a bowling point of view, you're obviously looking to bowl as many dots within your 4 over spell as you can.
7 overs remaining here in the first semi-final of the inaugural BPL. Dingoes just refreshing, won the toss, elected the field. Interesting stat, they haven't actually batted first in any game, I believe, in the tournament. So,
Really?
yeah, even when they wanted to, they didn't get the option to. So they thought, oh well, we'll just keep the good times rolling. It's worked for them.
Absolutely. If you've got a formula and it's working, stick to it.
A little attempted cut shot. I think that was a genuine edge that just flew down to third man there.
Yeah, I think McNay rolled his fingers across that one again. It looked like he extracted a little bit of extra bounce there. Surprised Palumbo.
Jack O'Neill, yeah, he's got 7 wickets with the ball, but hasn't scored too many runs. Probably not too many opportunities in this batting lineup. That's a beautiful cover, lofted cover drive. Jack O'Neill looking to come back. Just a lovely little, just played through the line. Pretty safe out there into that pocket, into that sort of extra cover field. Palumbo doing his thing here. 21 off 26 for the Kings. Oh my Lord, he's hit that very hard, very flat. Just for the one. Great pick up and throw and return.
Sam Truloff down there at long on.
That went like a bullet, didn't it?
Absolutely. I think a couple of metres either side, it might have been 4, but probably thankfully for Truloff down there, it came straight at him. Palumbo perhaps just looking to accelerate here a little bit. He's moved to 24 now off 29 balls.
Slower ball. Ball's gone up in the air. Man coming in. That is Truloff. Wouldn't drop him. Doesn't drop him. Sam Truloff, one of the most experienced cricketers going around the BPL, has taken that ever so comfortably. Another huge wicket. No such thing as not a huge wicket, I don't think, Slater, but in the context, always in the context of the game, that is beautifully bowled.
That was very skillful again there from McNay. That looked like a back of the hand slower ball, that one. Certainly did Jack O'Neill in there. I think he was just a bit early on his shot. Couldn't quite get the power he was after, and he just ended up scooping quite a simple chance to Truloff at long on. Having said that, he had to make some good ground. He did that early and was able to set himself and take what for him would be quite a regulation catch.
Yeah, it's a basic sort of philosophy of outfielding catch. Do the work early, steady yourself. He looked pretty comfortable. And yeah, swallowed it ever so easily. So
absolutely, another big wicket for the Dingoes. They're just every time the Kings look to accelerate, either with a boundary or a big shot, they seem to lose another wicket.
So they're in real strife here of obviously, not batting out that 20. I'm not too sure of the strength of the tail enders here for the Kings, but they're in a real conundrum, aren't they? With 6.5 overs remaining, they still have a power play up their sleeve. Do you just take it now? At least you've got some batsmen there. You're not relying on your 10 and 11. What happens now, Slater? They're in a real position here, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very much up to Palumbo now in terms of when they do take that power play.
Just punching that to point just for one.
He's definitely doing his best to hold this innings together, but as you said, Mark, he's running out of partners, so it presents an interesting little situation for him in terms of does he take that power play now and try to cash in. I think it's an absolute non-negotiable here for the Kings. They have to bat their 20 and try and get as many as they can.
The new batsman to the crease, amongst all the excitement, is Rob Fitzgerald. He's one of the more senior members. I would have thought of not just the Kings, but obviously of the tournament as well. A sprightly 38-year-old, still going about his business. A nice little glide down to third man, taking the one.
Yeah, he's very prominent in indoor cricket, Rob Fitzgerald, and you can definitely see that in the way that he bowls in this form of the game. His change-ups are very, very effective.
And that rounds out the over by McNay, who has, like all the bowlers for the Dingoes, has tasted success, kept the runs down and just applied pressure every single ball. 2
for 8 off 2 overs for McNay. That's a pretty handy start in any form of the game, let alone T20 cricket. So all the bowlers have been really, really effective as we look down the list here.
Yeah, some pretty tidy stats there. No surprises that top will continue on. They've had a real luxury here of being able to keep bowlers on because they're actually not getting hit. They're not under any pressure, just to keep them rolling.
Absolutely. This will be Top's 4th and final over.
Rob Fitzgerald only facing the 1 ball so far for 1. Cover drive. Beveridge coming in from the deep. Yeah, I think Fitzgerald was half thinking about 2, but it's more just that backing up, just in case.
Absolutely, trying to put pressure on the field. I think Palumbo, understandably at this stage, is keen to try and take as much strike as he can. being the in batsman.
Oh, beautiful little shot. Doesn't beat the man at short fine leg. Great bit of fielding down there. And that's Brendan McNay. Short fine leg, yeah, saving. Well, yeah, it went to him, but it was a nice bit of fielding, but a nice little clip off the legs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he might have slightly gotten away with that one top, just a leg stump half volley with fine leg up. Palumbo will be frustrated that he didn't go either side of that man for 4.
Slow ball by top, beautifully bowled. Man coming in from mid-on. They'll look to cut it down to 1 to keep Fitzgerald on strike. Great bit of fielding.
Tari and Jane down there at long on covered the ground well. He's a very, very good fielder who's doing some excellent work in at backward point before cutting off those singles. He now finds himself down at long on.
They've obviously got no reason, Slater, not to be completely up. You know,
absolutely.
Regardless of the position of the game, just the contest itself. Oh, another attempted Yorker there by top. Man coming around from gully. It's always safe there, Fitzgerald. Good backing up, good running. Top's variation has been really nice to watch, hasn't it? Slower balls, Yorkers, short of a length. Not letting the batsman just get comfortable at any stage. So
he's been a joy to watch this morning, Mark. He has, Michael Top.
Nice little shot there. Glide down to third man. They think of 2 and they come back easily for 2. Good bit of running there by Fitzgerald and Palumbo. 2's ever so critical for the Kings. Any run is critical right now.
Absolutely. He was in and out quite quickly there, Fitzgerald. And despite the good piece of fielding down there at third man from Blake Maher and a good return that was right over the bails, he still managed to make it home.
And cover drive out to the sweeper for Beveridge for 1. Another great over by Top. That's 5 singles and a 2. That's really well bowled, and just tightening the screws ever so well here, the Dingoes. So as Slater leaves the commentary box, and we welcome back Grant O'Hara. Grant, you've just been sitting here ever so quietly, mate, just marvelling at the wickets and action.
Yeah, look, what's a competitive total now? It's got to be. They've got to be aiming at that 140 mark. They've got the very experienced Fitzgerald in. He's a indoor cricket legend. He's had plenty of. He's had plenty of experience. He's played Test matches all around the world in indoor cricket. So there's been obviously pressure in that. Now he's in a pressure situation here now. And 140, 130, 140 will be a competitive target if they can get there. But 7 wickets down. So this power surge, when do they call that? 5, less than 5 overs to go.
A slow ball. Slow ball there. That's a beautifully bowled. The variation's been excellent. 5 overs remaining here, Grant. 140 would be an amazing total, I think.
Yeah.
Shorter one. Oh, plain a miss. Didn't get any bat on. Is he sort of appealing to the umpire to say, hey, is there a wide there? Certainly doesn't look too happy. Fitzgerald at all.
Yeah, no, he's looking for that leg side wide call.
Oh, that's a real short one. Brendan McNay bowling. And Savine down at fine leg. They'll take the 1. The umpire does, and that is 1 over the shoulder.
Gee, they've bowled well, the Dingoes. McNay, 2 for 9 off his 2.3.4 overs. They've been so controlled.
Oh, Palumbo just on the back foot, punching out to the sweeper at deep cover, looking for 2. Nice bit of fielding out there by the man. I think that is still Chris Gillam. Keeping them at 1. Really important that the Dingoes try and keep Fitzgerald on strike as much as possible. Obviously, Palumbo is their man right now to really steer this game.
Mark, and I think the power surge is now. With 3 overs to go after this over, I think the power surge needs to come into play right now.
Slower ball. Fitzgerald picked it up quite nicely. Slips at the non-striker's end, but does return and takes the 2. Yeah, I was probably personally surprised, Grant, that they didn't take it nearly straight away. You know, the risk of losing another wicket and then relying on either Palumbo or Fitzgerald with your deep tail enders to actually try and score as many runs in those 2 overs. And I think what we've seen with the power surge is they always create wickets, don't they, often? You know, like, yeah.
That's right, and I'd say these 2 players are talking about that right now. So we've got 4 overs left in this innings. The Palumbo well set now. The run rate is nearly 6.
Nearly.
Nearly 6. So that takes them to 120, doesn't it? So it's that 130 now, maybe 140 at a pinch if they can get that far.
That's Blake Maher returning to the bowling. Just open the face up there. Takes that ball. Takes the man down to... glides it down to third man for 1. Getting a little bit excited in these final overs.
Palumbo had about a run of ball, and same with Fitzgerald. 7 for 96. Maher, he's been impressive, hasn't he?
Oh, Maher, he's quite a sneaky all-rounder. He's got 6 wickets in prior to this game at an average of 16. Nice little cover drive out to the sweeper again. They take the 1. He's obviously more noted for his big hitting. You know, he's scored 100 off 35 balls in Premier Grade cricket, I believe. But yeah, a real handy all-rounder and been good in the field as well. So Marbo, as they call him, yeah, real asset. Oh, that's Palumbo doing what he probably needs to be doing. There is a huge gap between cover and mid-off on the boundary. He was looking to go straight over the man in the inner ring and hopefully over the boundary, but didn't make connection at all, Grant, so another dot ball.
And you just got to get bat and ball at this time of the innings. That was a miss there by Scott, but he's batted so well. He's holding this innings together.
Yeah, 29 off 34 currently. That's the one. That's huge, and wow, that didn't even go as high as the sight screen. The man out at deep mid-on had a pretty good attempt. I don't think he got a finger on it. If he did, I'm pretty sure it would have stung, because that was
great. Tony Craig, that went like a tracer bullet. That was so well hit. Actually, I hope he didn't get a hand on that, because he may not
have wanted to.
Found his hand.
What's Maher got in return? Slower ball. As Beveridge.
And back to your point, Mark. 6 single. Let's get Fitzgerald back on strike. Fitzgerald should be looking now to get Palumbo straight back on strike if he can. If he can't hit the big ball, which he'll look to, no doubt. But if he can't, get Scott Palumbo back on strike now, straight away.
You've got a boundary early in the overs. Just continue the scoring right now. That's another slower ball by Maher. He's using a lot of variation. And that looked to be a different slower ball. It looked to be actually slower again, but whether or not it was just out of the back of the hand, I couldn't quite tell. Besides the 6, yeah, pretty tidy over from Blake Maher. I'm sure they'll be still pretty happy with the way things are going here, the Dingoes, as we enter with 3 overs to remaining here, Grant.
Yeah, Maher only went for 21 off his 3. We've got Palumbo there anchoring this innings, 36 off 37, now striking very close to 100. Fitzgerald has played about 80 indoor cricket tests.
80?
Yeah, he's the most capped indoor Australian cricket player. He's a legend. He works at his own indoor centre. Well, it's not his centre, but he works at an indoor centre.
Well, he's in the outdoor trade right now pardon me. Oh, the run out on here. If he hits, he's gone. Brendan McNay, beautiful bit of fielding off his own bowling. Picked up the ball very easily, got to the ball very easily, and just went over the top of the stumps. He was cooked.
He was out by metres. McNay, being one of the really good bowlers here for the Dingoes, just gave it 13 runs in his 3.1 overs.
Pressure's on here, the Kings. They're a bit jittery. A much needed no ball.
No ball 4. Much needed, as you said, Mark.
That's look, I mentioned that they're a bit jittery. They're probably been a bit jittery from really the first over, where Josh Brown was bowled by Savine after being clocked for 6.
There's the umpire now signalling the free hit. So where does Palamo go? Where's he looking, Mark?
Well, they can't change the field, as we all know. So I think we'll see a real change up in pace here by McNay. No, full ball and gets dispatched down to the man at mid-off. He takes the catch, but as we know, you cannot get caught, bowled, LBW, etc. off a no ball. So out of that free hit, they'll probably take that, the Dingoes.
McNay, I think that's as you said, you rightly called, that's a slower delivery. It sort of came out of the side of his hand. It was, Palamo couldn't get all of it.
That's a much slower ball again by Fitzgerald, but he's able to heave it sort of around deep behind square leg. Savine and Beveridge, the spin twins, attempted to cut it off, but unfortunately neither of them could find the ball before it reached the boundary.
That was unlucky for McNay because it kind of went very inside edgy and it ran away on this carpet of an outfield. Absolutely beautiful outfield here. What a magnificent facility out here at Redlands. Semi-final 1.
And the Kings are just putting a little spurt on here, Grant. That that little no ball 4. All of a sudden, another boundary. Another slower ball. There's a run out on. Well fielded.
Well done by Palamo, running to the danger end.
Smart cricket. As Fitzgerald just dabbed that one to point. Palumbo ready to run.
Really impressed with Fitzgerald. He's come in, he's understood that there were still plenty of overs to go. He's nudged it around, he's supported Palamo. Very good innings.
Full Yorker. Well bowled by McNay. Palumbo able to just dig it out. They take their one. It's been a great over by the Kings. As the score tickles, well, not even tickles, it sort of rocketed to 118 in this particular over, and all of a sudden your 130-140, Grant, is actually looking like an actual possible outcome.
Well, it's got to be in play now because they'll obviously take the power surge the last 2 overs, and they've got a few wickets there now. Really smart batting.
Fitzgerald, just a really, really late cut down to third man. And that rounds out a fantastic over by the Kings. Oh, a very much needed over indeed.
So the run rate now, Mark's gone up to 6.61. So 7 for 119. Palamo 42. And this is what he did earlier on in the tournament. He really anchored the innings for the Kings. He was lucky. He's given a chance. Got put down out there in deep cover. But you take your chances, don't you? You be here. And now he's here for the last 2 overs. Now let's take a look at what the Dingoes are going to do with their field.
Yeah, well, obviously, whether or not we missed it, Grant, but surely the power surge has actually been implemented.
Yes.
Did the batting team have to actually take it?
No, well, they don't, but obviously you're mad if you don't. Because now we've got plenty of space here on the offside. Fitzgerald will be eyeing that off. We've got a deep mid-on and a deep mid-wicket. He's got to go. And he does.
Blake
Good
Marr.
playing.
Yeah, beautiful shot there. Blake Marr outside off, pitching it up. But just a majestic cover drive. Well, it's really nearly mid-off. Lofted and finds the boundary.
I reckon that's got some indoor cricket in that shot because he played inside out, Mark. He sort of saw the ball and then if he knows if he hits it straight down the mid-on, there's only a single. But he was like an inside out over cover 4.
Full toss. Splits the man at point and cover. That will probably race along this carpet like outfield. Huge attempt. He's like on a slip and slide there. That was Nick King. Slid from metres outside in the boundary to try and save 4. But a full toss outside off. Full advantage. And here we go. The Kings making it a little rearguard action here, Grant.
Yeah, the first time we've really seen a little bit of wayward bowling by the Dingoes, and that's what happens when we start putting pressure on the bowling side, which is happening now.
Slow ball. Great bit of fielding there. That's Trueloff.
Well batted, Fitzgerald. He's now 27 off his 19, so he's really accelerated at the right time. He's put Palumbo back on strike. The gun player here for the Kings.
Short one from Ma. Oh, it's attempted.
That was the attempted ramp, and I think he might have got away with one there, Ma. And it followed him. It was actually, I'll nearly take that back. That's pitched outside off stump, tailed in, and just about collected Palumbo. It was a terrific.
I don't think he would have been expecting that one in the game itself, like a short one at the throat,
Exactly. Short again.
That was a slower ball, the short slower ball, and Ma, a couple of dots, getting away with it. He's very unhappy with himself there, Palumbo.
Oh, I love these death bowlers. I think that's almost like a knuckleball. He actually had the ball sat, in the top of his knuckles. He let it go, and again, expecting something a lot quicker.
Well, you're probably expecting something full as well, because you've got your man at deep mid on and deep mid wicket. You're thinking if they drop it in short, I've only got to get bat on it and beat the fine leg, and I've got 4. So it's brave bowling by Ma. This time he goes full, and this time he gets just rewards. Crunching cover drive there by Palumbo.
That takes him on to 46. That was unlucky by Ma. I love watching these death bowlers. Every ball means something, and they make sure that they've got their varieties. And it seems to be as soon as they pitch up and as soon as they put a bit of heat on the ball, that's the opportunity for the batter, and he took that opportunity on the offside. Yeah,
and a bit of a double bluff there by Ma in that over, bowling a couple of short ones where probably not expecting it, whether or not the batsman was thinking, is he going to bowl another short one? Well, he didn't. In T20, I liken to a quick game of chess. A lot of moving pieces, and obviously they can't move too many pieces around at the moment. The Dingoes only allowing two players outside the ring.
So we've got down to the last over here now, and they're at 130. So look, if I went up to Tom Healy now and I said, Tom, I'll give you 145. Do you think he'd take it?
I think he'd take 140.
Righto.
Considering where they were, Grant. They were literally on the ropes, down for the count. 7 wickets down, 3 wickets, about 5 overs remaining. And all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, over the course of these few overs, they've just batted fairly smartly.
And I like the captaincy of McGiffin. He's captained this team beautifully today. And his gun bowler, who did all the damage early, is now he's saved him for the last. So let's see what he does here.
So Savine, left arm orthodox. What's going to happen here? Fitzgerald. They're looking for 2, and they'll come back. Great, but gee, Palumbo's quick. Real quick. I shouldn't say what's going to happen. We know what they're going to be trying to do, the Kings. They're going to be trying to hit as many boundaries as possible in the next 5 balls. There's no doubt about that. But it's a brave call. They've gone back, taken the pace off the ball. Whether or not this is in their plans all along, who knows? Savine. Oh, what a beautiful, what a beautiful lofted drive there. That is one of the shots of the day so far.
That's a lovely shot by Fitzgerald. He didn't try and overhit the ball. There wasn't even that much of a follow through, but he knew there was a pocket down there and long off. He has batted absolutely beautifully. He's 33 now off 21. He's accumulated his runs and done it in such a professional way.
We talk about good cricket shots in T20 that always generally come to the fore, don't they? And that was one of the better ones we've seen today. Slower there by Savine. He took the pace right off. I know we've got some pretty fancy balls out there. I'd like to see the actual pace on that. That was one of the slowest balls we've seen all day.
That was beautifully bowled.
And you could see Fitzgerald wanting to go hard, but he just couldn't. If he did, he would have spooned it. He actually did, but he didn't find a field. A quicker one there by Savine. Cut shot there by Palumbo. Ball finds the boundary.
And that's the 50 for Palumbo. What a wonderful innings. He did give that one chance, but he's batted beautifully. He's anchored this innings. He and Fitzgerald have brought the Kings back into this game, Mark.
Oh, there's your 142, Grant. I thought you were going to be a bit scratchy with that 140, but they've got there with a few balls remaining.
And Tom Healy wouldn't have taken the 145 because I think they can get that.
Just a little punch out the mid-wicket. They're going to come back for two because they need to. It's at the end of the game.
That would have been out.
That's the right play. With only a couple of wickets remaining, a couple of balls, every run critical, Grant O'Hara. Every single run.
Absolutely. That's the 145. So with one ball to go, big six here takes the 150. Very competitive total.
Oh, the big wide Yorker by Savine to finish off.
And Palumbo is on the deck. What a wonderful innings by him. Fitzgerald, they both come in and they have basically resurrected the innings for the Kings. After a very slowish start, look, there was plenty of big hitting and plenty of sixes, but they were losing wickets early. And so the bowling side was getting momentum, and the Kings couldn't get the momentum. But no, Fitzgerald, look at him walking off there. He'll bowl too, so he'll be very happy with the way he went about that innings.
Yeah, Fitzgerald came in at the score at 7 for 82. 7 for 82. They finished at 7 for 145. They put on 60 odd. I think that was, I can't remember the exact over that he came in, but it was around 5 overs remaining, I think, Grant. That last little stanza of play was amazing to watch.
It was terrific, and as I did say, he's a very experienced player. He plays at the Alberton Ormo Club. He's 38. And I spoke to him about he's so excited and thrilled to be in this format. You know, he just loves cricket. He loves being in this. He got picked up in the auction. He was so thrilled to do so. So look, he's put them back in the game. He's put them back. He and Scott Palumbo put them back in the game. And let's take a look at that. So Palumbo top scoring there with 52 off 46. Rob Fitzgerald 34 off 22 in the end. Jack Cooper a couple of big sixes, 19 off 10, and Sam Wilson a couple of big sixes too, 18 off 15.
Yeah, it's an interesting card. Some of the big players that you were thinking are going to take the game on, like obviously Josh Brown early, that was a huge wicket, and they lost wickets continually at regular intervals. So, but other boys stood up real strong at the end. Going through the card with the bowling, there was some pretty tight bowling, but you know, the figures look quite real tidy at the start of the innings, but obviously, you know, coming near the end, a few of the boys started getting a few boundaries hit on them naturally. So 2 wickets by Savine, a wicket by Arian Jane. Brendan McNay picked up 2 with Michael Top 2 as well. So sharing the spoils a little bit, but yeah, 146.
I tell you what this does do, Mark. This brings momentum into the equation now for the Kings. They've starting to come out on the field now to get, you know, to warm up, and you can see the shoulders are up. You know, they're happy. They now feel like they're right into this game, and the Dingoes who are on top, it'd be fair to say they're on top most of that innings, now go and say, right, we've got some work to do.
Yeah, look, no doubt they would have been probably disappointed that they couldn't actually close out the innings, being 7 for 82. They would have liked to try and bowl the Kings out at that particular stage of the game, or at least reduce them to a smaller total.
All right, Mark, we've got a run chase starting in about 10 or 15 minutes. 146 is the total for the Dingoes. We'll be back shortly to see if they can do it.
Can't wait, Grant. Bring it on.
Welcome back, everybody. First semi-final, the Mazda Brisbane Premier League 01. Second playing third, the Darling Dingoes versus the Northern Kings. And the Northern Kings have battered, and the Dingoes are chasing 145. 146 to win. Scott Palomo top scored for the Northern Kings, 52 from 46 balls. Rob Fitzgerald came in, saved the innings for the Kings, 34 off 22, and Jack Cooper and Sam Wilson also chipped in. And with Slater as the car, Slater was a bit of a comeback, wasn't it, by the Kings?
Yeah, they looked in a bit of strife at one stage, Grant, that's for sure. The partnership there at the end between Fitzgerald and Palombo was crucial in them being able to set a defendable total here. Looks like Rob Fitzgerald's going to back up straight away and open the bowling here.
Arian Jane looks like he's taking strike for the Dingoes, the left-hander from South. The Dingoes won the toss and sent the Kings in, so obviously they were keen to chase. Opening the batting at the northern end is Brandon Faber, the keeper, who kept very well. Gee, I was very impressed with his keeping, very, very tidy. And Rob Fitzgerald, they've said to him, right, mate, you've got runs, get out there and open the bowling.
Yeah, look for Fitzgerald to change his pace here early on, I think. He's pretty crafty with his change-ups from his indoor cricket days.
Good start. Flicked off his toes there, or get two. Lovely to get off the mark first ball.
Yeah, look for Arian Jane to do that throughout his innings, pick the gaps and run hard. I think in this partnership, Faber will be the aggressor. Arian's a very, very classy stroke maker.
In the first innings, the Dingoes opened with spin. And I've got to say, it worked for them. They bowled it beautifully, their spinners. The first 7 overs were spin. Oh, was that a catch? I think it was. Return catch went very quickly. Fitzgerald, the indoor cricket star, diving to his left.
That would have been an unbelievable catch, Grant, if he had taken that one. Would have been the ideal start for the Kings too, defending what looks to be a middling total.
What do you think of the total, Slater? 145. Is it?
It's really hard to know what to make of it, Grant. I think until both sides are battered, the old saying goes. I think certainly the Dingoes certainly wanted to bowl first and make use of any early moisture that was in the surface, being an early start, and I think that they obviously did exceptionally well with that. Look, the Kings have to make it enough, don't they? In a semi-final, they have to find a way.
Shot. Chipped over mid-wicket, that spun, and I think that might be... That is a boundary.
Yeah, Ranatunga out there in the deep. He's just overrun that one, unfortunately.
That spin always happens to us when we're little kids. Remember, we used to run in from the boundary and it'd turn and spin, and that's exactly what happened there.
Yeah, unfortunately, it can happen to anyone. So
absolutely. Have an Indy. In the air. No run. Down and long off.
It's been a solid start here from the Dingoes. It's always nice for Jane to find the boundary in the first over. Gets his innings away.
Swing and a miss. And what are we going to call that? So none for 6 off the first over. Who's over? Who gets that over? Your book, Slab?
I think the Dingoes get that one. I think they would have spoken about it in their team huddle before they came out to bat here. I reckon they would have said, right, if we can be none or one down at the end of the power play, I think that'll be a massive tick in their box, chasing 145. Wickets in hand will be the key as they work their way through this innings.
Looks like Jack O'Neill, the right arm off spinner, is going to open the bowling from the southern end. He's done this a few times, Grant. Opened the bowling throughout the tournament for the Kings.
Tom Healy, the keeper and captain, in the absence of Andrew Godey, the local hero. That's a big out, isn't it?
Massive out with both bat and ball.
You played with Andrew?
Yeah, had the privilege of playing with Andrew at Bally's. Incredibly skillful performer over a number of years. you know, Peter Burge medalist in Queensland Premier Cricket. His record speaks for itself, so that is a massive out, and somebody who really fills two players with one spot, you know, with bat and ball.
Yep, and here's the keeper, Brendan Faber, who's also opening the batting, left-hander. Good start.
It'll be interesting to see here if the spin is as effective for the Kings as it was for the Dingoes in the first innings with that new ball.
In the air. Oh! Put down out here at mid-wicket. Tremendous effort there. And I think he may have injured himself. This is Scott Paloma out here, batted beautifully. Top scorer for the Kings. No, he's given the, he's all right. He's given the signal that he is all right. That's just in front of us, Slater. That went quickly, didn't it?
Went flat, didn't it? I think he might have winded himself there as he's tried to take that one. As a great effort. Certainly would have been a game changer for the Kings if he could have held on to that one. Brandon Faber's been in great form this tournament.
Yep, yeah, definitely. I know it was a great. What did it go for a boundary? I had him missing that.
No, it just ended up stopping inside. So they've run a single.
Scott Paloma out here, deep in wicket, looking at his hands now. I thought he had that. Here's a run-out chance. He's just feeling his side here. Look, that would have been such a great start for the Kings. They need wickets. They need early wickets. Just to get the Dingoes on the back foot. Down the wicket. Beautifully struck. Faber.
It's been a great over this from O'Neill. Making it quite difficult to get up and under him. Can he close out?
Little short. Square cut out there to cover. And Faber gets a single. Okay, who are you going to give the points to that time, Slater?
I'm giving the points to the Kings that time. That was a great over there from Jack. Only 3 off it.
Yeah, definitely.
None for 9 after 2.
And nearly a wicket too.
He's proved quite difficult to get away with the new ball so far this tournament, O'Neill. It's big pressure to put on a young man, only 19 years of age, to open the bowling as an off-spinner in the power play against the calibre of players that we see running around in this tournament, Grant.
Fitzgerald's going to take up the bowling again from the northern end. There's a slight breeze coming for him now. It's only slight. They said it will come from like that. It looks like that's a nor'westerly. They could swing around to a nor'easterly. We're only a kilometre from the water here at Redlands. Isn't it a beautiful spot?
Beautiful spot, and look for that breeze to get stronger as the afternoon goes on.
Nicely bowled there by Phil. He claps his hands. Looks, he's right in this game. Couldn't wait to get off the ground. Couldn't wait to get back out here and bowling. Lovely ball there, just pitching on off stump. And the wicket, it's a nice wicket, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as the moisture comes out of the surface here, it's going to get better to bat as the day goes on. The Kings will certainly have their work cut out here to defend this score, particularly if it becomes a lot more even paced and the ball starts sliding onto the bat a bit more. The batters will prefer that, I think.
Yeah.
So
he just jams Faber up there. He looking to tug that one onto the onside and just didn't quite time it.
Such an experienced campaign of Fitzgerald. He's just making it really difficult for these two to get underneath him. Short. Great change of pace there. He's dug that one into the surface with pace off.
I spoke to him about his indoor cricket career, and he said, look, there's so many transferable skills. He said, we learned to do all this sort of stuff and did it all the time during my indoor cricket days, and now I can bring it to the outdoor format.
Yeah, no, especially in this form of the game where change-ups are so important. As he goes pace on again there, and he even fields off his own bowling. He's doing it all today. He's
now become my favourite player, I think. He's 38, and he's running around out there like a teenager.
He'll still be playing in BPL 05 whenever. He'll still be running around, so.
Slater, you'll be playing him, I reckon, in the next 5 years. You're right.
Yeah, he's definitely a tough competitor, very, very tough to come up against in this form of the game. They're certainly I think they say T20 is a young man's game, but certainly there is massive room for, you know, these experienced heads that know their own game so well and can just go out there and execute week on week.
Well bowled. That slower delivery again, that's probably another version of his slower delivery. It looked like it came out, well, it looked like he may have even been a sort of an off-spinning slow ball, but just when that batter's trying to get into their rhythm and likes the ball coming on, he changes it up and they get through for one. Bowling, full pitch. In any format of the game, Slater, they're hard to hit.
He's executed so well here. Another big tick in the box of the Kings there. For the Dingoes to only be 12 after 3 overs. That's another win there for the Kings. However, crucially for the Dingoes, they are still none down, and I think that'll be important the longer this innings rolls on.
So wickets in hand is their focus?
Wickets in hand, I think, will be the key. Yeah, I think chasing 145, it's only 7.5 and over. It's manageable from a run rate point of view if you can keep those wickets in hand. So I think that will be the focus of these two batters. Credit to the Kings, obviously O'Neill and Fitzgerald have made it hard for the Dingoes early on, made it hard for Jane and Faber, but crucially they are still out there. I think that'll be their focus at this point in time whilst the boundaries aren't flowing.
So striking at 4 and over, none for 12 off 3.
This looks like Joe Pratt coming into the attack now, another Bally's product. Look for him to change his pace too. He's a little bit quicker than you think, his stock delivery, but he'll also look to change his pace and make it quite difficult.
Oh, full pitch. That's going down for 4. And what is the umpire? He's called 4.
He's called a no ball as well.
And he's called a no ball. So a loose delivery. Maybe a nervous start there by Pratt. Might have slipped. It did. It was over shoulder height. So.
Yeah, not the ideal start there from Pratt. He now also has to defend, obviously, the free hit that comes with that.
Putting a bandage on his arm here now. Yep, let's see what he does with this. Back on the length. Oh, fielding! Great fielding! Well done there, Luke Pollock.
That's an outstanding piece of work, Grant. Diving full stretch away to his right.
And that can really set the tone for the fielding team. Tremendous fielding there by Pollock. Driving, lovely shot through the covers. And that'll run away. That looks like there. That's run away. Tremendous shot there.
Classic cover drive there from Jane. One of his strengths, hitting square of the wicket on the offside.
Yeah.
Just lent on that, didn't he? He didn't look like he tried to hit it too hard. Just got the ball he was after, and crucially, he managed to pick the gap between cover and point.
Well, this is the last over of the first power play, and no one out deep on the cover there, cover region. And just a little nudge.
It's been a great start to this over for the Dingoes. We were talking about how the Kings have managed to tie them down in the first 3 overs of this power play, but this 4th over's proved really, really effective for Faber and Jane so far.
Yeah, Pratt will be looking just to calm the nerves, get back on that, just that line and length. Down the ground, slight misfield there, admit off. Sam Wilson comes around from long on, picks up, and they pick up 2.
None for 25 now the score. 2 balls remaining in this power play. It's crucial for Pratt now, I think, to get out of his over here with a couple of singles or if he can find a dot somewhere along the line.
He strikes it well, doesn't he, Brandon Faber?
Has a lot of power.
Driving down the ground. He'll pick up 1.
That's good batting there, I think, from Faber. Not quite getting one that was in his area, but still managing to be able to punch it straight and get off strike. I think, avoiding those dot balls
Now, Slater, before we're going to lose you in a moment because you're going to go and warm up and play in the next semi-final.
I do, yeah. It's exciting times. We've got the Morton Magic in the second semi, so fingers crossed.
Driving down to that off. Push off for one. How's the confidence levels?
Yeah, we're feeling quite confident. We've played our best cricket, I think, probably intermittently throughout the tournament. There's been times where we've batted really well and then other times where we've bowled really well. So we're probably looking to try and put together a complete performance today if we can. I think nothing short of that's going to get us into the final. We're playing against the Magic, who obviously finished first, and they're an exceptionally well-drilled outfit. So it's certainly going to be a massive test for us, but it's one that we're really excited about. So,
well, Slater, good luck. We look forward to calling you. Let's hope you have a big game, mate.
Thank you very much.
And hopefully we'll see you in the final.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Grant.
As we welcome Mark Alexander back into the commentary position.
Oh, Grant, it's been lovely just sitting to the side. Found myself a coffee. Only my first one of the day, Grant. Hopefully not my last. As we've seen the Dingoes off to a solid start.
And the crowd's starting to build.
Yeah, it's been really nice. They've gone about their business quite well, the Dingoes, haven't they? Small amount of risk. Taking their ones, taking their twos, couple of boundaries. So it's been a real good start.
And Gopi Ramgara.
Oh, Gopi.
Yes, taking up the attack from the northern end. Nice start from Gopi. He's a great story.
Well, Gopi, first things first, Grant,
yeah.
I love his action. He's got his high knees, his energy, which is quite important for a spinner. But Gopi, what grade does he normally play?
4th and 5th grade. He played in the finals last year in 5th grade.
That is astonishing. And here he is playing in the inaugural BPL against pretty much all Premier grade cricketers.
And he has looked every bit, and that spells, great volumes for just this format, this idea.
Yeah, well, he's one of the leading wicket takers actually for the tournament, Gopi. He's got 9 wickets leading up into the semi-final at an average of 17 with an economy rate of under 7. He's a 5th grader, and he's actually mixing it with the best amongst Queensland cricketers. So, what a great story.
Little drag down, no ball. Oh, no ball from Gopi. And that's going to run away, I think. Yes, that has run away for 4. So
it's sacrilege, isn't it, Grant? Having a no ball off a spinner. Really, a no ball in any format is not great. But being a spinner, there's really no excuses, unfortunately, for Gopi. He'd be absolutely gutted with that.
So Gopi, and he can't get this wrong. He can't drag it down. He probably can't go above the eye line because if he does that, it's a free hit. Obviously, the batter can't get out.
Yeah, and they can't change the field. So, Harry and Jane, a real beautiful bat. Interesting to see what he does here.
Down on one knee, and he found the fielder. So Gopi got away with that. It was a good delivery. As I said, he couldn't throw it above the eye line, and he couldn't drag down. So he ended up with a good result in the end. Just a single.
Yeah, Gopi. I just love the name, though, Grant. I love the name.
Yeah.
That's
back and cuts. He's now got covered because the first power play is over and done with, and Tom Healy brings Gopi in over 5. He's got some protection. He's got this long cover and a deep mid on and off.
It's a beautiful shot there by Faber. Just a lovely cut shot.
Uses his feet down the ground. Down to Sam Wilson. Should only pick up. Lefty. Sam throws at him.
Just a little chip shot there.
Yep.
Yeah, a little chip shot. Very safe if you can execute that well. Brendan Faber looking pretty nice at the crease. He's got a beautiful Instagram page. Have you seen it by any chance, Grant? Are you on the gram?
Well, yes, but I'm not an active... really? One knee, down. Deep. Mid-wicket comes across, picks up, and 2.
He obviously likes getting down there on that one knee with that slog sweep. He looks really comfortable, but Brendan Faber, the boys think he's one of the most beautiful cricketers amongst the entire competition in Queensland and Australia. So He's obviously well respected for his looks. So,
has he got the mullet going there? I think.
well, no, it's more of just a long hair look, Grant.
Right.
Yeah, so he might be one of those hairband sort of wearers. I'm not too sure.
Right.
I don't have any hair, basically, Grant. So.
We all blokes think anything that long is called a mullet. So.
Yeah.
And I've probably got that wrong. So apologies if I have.
So there you can see it
Oh,
now.
yeah,
Look at it.
yes.
Just the flick of the hair.
Yeah, the flick. Where's the headband? Oh, the flick again. No, yes.
Yeah, look, if I could grow hair like that, I might. I'm not too sure if it'd suit me, but yeah, he obviously can.
And the crowd's starting to build. People are coming into the ground. It was a 7:30 start, so lovely, a beautiful morning. The weather is just magnificent. There's a slight breeze just cooling things down. Tommy Healy now just pushing a few of his players out. Got some good coverage here on the onside. And it looks like O'Neill's back into the attack. Short, outside off stump, glided beautifully just behind point.
Yeah, Arian Jane, that's a real deliberate shot there. Knowing that if he beats that man at short third man, he's going to get two pretty much every day of the week. Using the pace of the spinner. He looks all class, this Arian Jane. I haven't watched much of him bat, but he's a nice foil for Faber, isn't he?
He is. Playing for the Souths club. Just seems to have plenty of time. Very wristy. Pushes out there, deep cover. And simple two.
I'm liking the way that these two batsmen have compiling their innings here, Grant. They've actually played... The risky shots have been fairly low risk. And they've actually just pushed ones, twos, turning that strike over really well. Just like that. Just using the pace, which is not much with the spinner, but just beating that man at fine leg and another two. There's a couple of twos this over. This takes the pressure off immediately, doesn't it, Grant?
It sure does. Like with 103 off 88 required, it's just above a run of ball, but if you get within reach.
Well, a run of ball in this particular circumstance, when I'm talking about circumstance, I'm talking about the outfield, I'm talking about the conditions. If you hit the ball sweetly enough in the gap, often you're getting twos, if not four. So,
Well done, O'Neill. Beautiful bowling.
now, dare I say it, the spinner's picked up a wicket with the batsman trying to play a cut shot too close to his body. We saw that a number of times with the Kings innings.
I think 3 times.
Yeah, so
we saw that 3 times in the Kings innings.
So whether or not there's not much turnout there, we can't see too much from this vantage point, but that's a pretty much carbon copy of the way Josh Brown got out, and I think it was Cooper as well for the Kings with that late, trying to play that really late cut shot, making room for themselves. And
you can see he just steps away and went to cut one right on. I think that's middle stump. That's actually was pegged at that stage. And now we start to, if the Kings can pick up a few wickets, you start to build that dressing room pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Although striding to the crease, he hasn't got the biggest stride because he's not the biggest man running around. Is Sam Trueloff. He is an elite batsman. He's the second highest run scorer in the BPL behind Josh Brown leading into this game, 233 runs. He's not noted for big boundary hitting, but you will find that he will punch gaps. He will hit twos, threes, fours. If he gets going with Faber, they could really just lean into this game and actually take it away from the Kings.
He reminds me a lot of the way Sam Trueloff goes about his innings, and that could just be totally invaluable. Batting 3, you need to have that agility, don't you, to be able to either go in and go because everything's, you need to go, or just come in and just consolidate. So that ability to come in and vary your game is something that he's clearly got in his kit bag. Oh, that could quite have easily just lobbed into cover.
He just looked to push that one through on the leg side to get off the mark. He just caught a leading edge. And I think as Luke Pollock there would have thought, another couple of metres, I'm diving for that.
Yeah, points to O'Neill on that.
Scratchy start there by Trueloff, but...
Sweeps in the air. To Fitzgerald and he's out. Brandon Faber just got a little top edge to that. It went deep down to square leg, and Brandon Faber's out.
As they say, one comes two, Grant. One comes two. Very common catch call in the cricket game. You get one, you get two. That's a massive wicket. Brandon Faber, he would have been looking to keep going with Truloff at the end, just sort of working them around for ones and twos. But Faber, the beautiful man, as they call him, has to depart. But coming out to the crease is their local hero, their captain, Steve McGiffin. Now, Grant, he's all class, this bloke. Surprised, didn't actually see him with the ball. Whether or not he's carrying an injury, he's bowled quite well through the tournament, but batting at 4 every game so far. The skipper.
O'Neill's gone from none for 2 for very quickly and taking the points now at the moment in this over.
Jack O'Neill.
That's the end of the over, so Gopi.
Well, this is great for Gopi, isn't it? Because he's got two fresh batsmen. Sam Truloff has faced one ball and quite an edgy start for him. He's got McGiffin out there now. This is perfect for a spinner to let him get into the game. He's got all his fielders out. He can just look to try and dot them up, take a few singles. That's what I'll be hoping for. As Truloff and McGiffin, their standout batsmen, will look to just keep rolling along.
I just get a feeling Gopi will love this. There's 2 class players. He gets in on quickly. And
how often would a bloke like Gopi playing 4th, 5th grade get to play against first graders? Look, obviously, never.
No, not very often. You obviously bowl them to them in the nets, but I know there's a very high opinion of him at his club Norths, and he's starting to play up in the grades now. And I wouldn't be surprised if he plays first grade fairly quickly.
Yep. Well, this is the wonderful thing about these amateur competitions, isn't it, Grant? It provides opportunities for cricketers that could be just sitting on the fringe of 2nd, 3rd grade, 4th grade to actually get their names up in lights. So, Gopi.
Well bowled. Great flight.
Little late cut there by McGiffin. The GIF, as they call him, gets off the mark with 1. And I guess that's the beauty about this BPL, Grant. It's providing not just amateur cricketers, but scorers, journalism, and dare I say some old cricket heads like ourselves in the commentating box, mate. So
it is, and will just get bigger and bigger because of COVID. It had to be delayed, so it normally would be played, early months in August. We would have had players coming from all states, nearly all states of Australia, coming into this. As it was, we did end up with some players from South Australia. Well bowled.
Oh, well bowled. Well played. Great cricket.
Yep.
And this is the sort of stuff that I hope that a lot of young cricketers, and I know there's some young cricketers out there that I know are watching this game right now, absolute students of the game, just looking, they'd be talking to their partners, Giff and Truloff, look, we can get a 1 there at cover, There's ones everywhere. Missed field, unfortunately, there by Luke Pollock.
And they come back for 2. Danger end down the bowler's end, but no, back quite comfortably.
It's not all about just coming in and trying to blast boundaries. If you can get off the mark, get the 10, run a ball 10 to get you get you into your innings is just a great foundation.
Well flighted. Beautiful.
Oh.
Gopi comes back and eyeballs the very credentialed Sam Truloff. Oh, that's great to see. The young fella, he wants to be part of this competition. He wants to be into this game.
That's amazing, isn't it? Gopi's probably, unfortunately for Gopi, he's probably shorter than Sam Truloff, which is no easy feat. But just to stare him down, eyeball to eyeball there, Grant, at the end of the over.
The leggy, he threw one up. You have a go at that one.
It was flighted quite nicely, wasn't it?
So Tommy Healy's going to keep O'Neill going after his great over, 2 for 10 off 2.
Why wouldn't you?
7 overs down, 2 for 52's the score. 94 off 78, so you'd still think that the Kings want to pick up another couple of quick wickets and fairly quickly.
Well, if our maths is right. Oh,
sweeping down to the boundary.
That's a stand-up sweep, Grant.
Stand-up sweep.
A stand-up sweep. I'm not too sure if that's actually ever been used, but McGiffin didn't even sort of get down on one leg. He just sort of stayed quite upright. And unfortunately, O'Neill just drifting onto his pads outside leg. Again, you beat that man at fine leg, there's runs every time. So
Carefully struck down. He'll look for 2. In and out of his crease, but
That's a nice bit of fielding down there. You know, it's a quite a large oval. I know these cricketers are quite used to playing on these particular ovals, but it is a large oval. There are 2s out there to be taken. Truloff just works that one off his hip out to mid-wicket. And this is what Truloff and McGiffin will try and do, I think. Sure, they'll be looking for boundaries when they get that ball, but, you know, you'll see that they'll be trying to reduce their dots down to an absolute minimum. They'll be looking for 1s and 2s. Technically, they're right on the run rate at the moment at 7, so...
Little flick into the onside. This is the partnership. The Kings will feel that if they can break up this partnership, then they're right in this game.
Absolutely, Grant.
The experience, the quality of these players, this batting, the game is on an edge right now.
Very much evenly balanced. Oh, that's that same shot again.
He's called wide. Yeah, he's coming. Look, he's coming, operating around the wicket. He's got a leg stump theory here. He's got protection on the leg side, and
yeah, generally that theory of jamming it in their legs to try and cramp them is quite a good ploy. You'll have 5 on the leg side.
Driving. Should only be 1. Field down there by Joey Pratt, who's had 1 over so far. That's the over for O'Neill. He now has 2 for 18, 8 off that over from his 3, so he's going to run a ball. Scored 2 for 60, Truloff 6 from 6, and McGiffin 8 from 7.
Yeah, as we've spoken about a fair bit already in the last couple of overs, Grant, these very 2 experienced cricketers, you know, really on the cusp, or have been on the cusp, have played some state cricket. Not too sure about McGiffin, but he's certainly had some higher duties as well.
Kelvin Cochrane coming into the attack. He plays for the Valleys Club at Gympie. He's a country boy, and so thrilled to be part of this. In fact, he told Ian Healy when he bowled in the first game he couldn't breathe. He was that
excited.
He was that excited and nervous and everything at the same time, and he just said he's just so happy to be part of this competition.
Well,
coming in to bowl. Big shout.
And here he is bowling to Truloff and McGiffin. Yeah. Can I just say something about the Kings players? Like, I reckon half of them look like they could be playing for the top 5 for a first grade rugby club. There's some big boys out there.
He's a big boy, this fella, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but even Wilson and, you know, there are some...
Well, you know, Sam's brother Harry plays for the Wallabies.
Oh, that's his brother Harry Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Yeah. Well, I can see the resemblance. This is some...
Oh, that drive. Down to the man in question, Sam O'Neill's got a sore bad knee. Still works it around, lefty, picks up, throws. Yeah, Sam played for Brothers.
Yeah, okay, right here.
And talk about type 5, he was in the front row.
Well, yeah, no surprises there. I've just noticed the Kings, they certainly are not lacking size and stature, that's for sure. You know, if you put them on the scales, mate, I reckon they'd tip every other team out of the comp. So
bowled. Cochrane, those little wind dippers, jamming him up there. He'll just look to give no width. He's got protection out, deep cover. He's got some protection long off, long on. Scott Palomo out there at long off.
McGiffin, Truloff, just looking to keep picking these gaps, trying to find 2s and looking for that stray one. Yet again.
That single, rotating the strike.
This is a couple of 2 craftsmen just applying their trade quite nicely here. They know they don't need to go at 8s, 9s, 10s right now. We've seen in T20 cricket, it can easily get up to 12s, 13s, 14s when you've got firepower like Ma coming in. Chris Gillam can go real hard as well. Michael Top and Nick King. There is still some firepower as well in the sheds, naturally with 2 wickets down.
Tom Healy's pushed Fitzgerald out to a slogger's corner area there, and plenty of space on the onside. I'd say, well, Tom's bringing them back in now.
Yeah, Healy just moving Jacko inside the
he's
circle for fine leg.
Yep, righto. Fitzgerald is going out. He wants to save a boundary. He does not want any boundary off this over. What's happening there wide?
He'd be really upset with that, Kelvin.
Yeah.
He's actually bowled a fairly decent over here to this point. Try and close out the over, Grant, without taking a boundary.
I think that's the first time he tried the outswinger and just lost his radar there. Short.
Oh, that's the ball that he did not want to bowl. They bring the fine leg up, they push the man out to mid-wicket, and unfortunately he's dropped it short, and just the experience of Truloff was able to get inside of it. 1 metre either side of that short fine leg man, and that's always going to be 4. Unfortunately for the Kings, that's not the end they wanted to that. Quite a good over.
The big bloke, he's walking off there. His shoulders are slumped a little bit. Come on, mate. Head up. You'll be right. O'Neill back into the attack there for the Kings. Jack O'Neill plays for the Valleys Club. Fitzgerald, he only went for 8 overs off his 2. O'Neill, 18 off his 3.
Yeah, it's pretty tidy, isn't it? Jack O'Neill, 7 wickets in the tournament so far at an average of 23.29. Economy rate of 7s. Not
he's
bad.
about on that, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's about on what he's done for the tournament.
And look, I think in T20, if you can go for 5s, 6s, or possibly 7s, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Just to push down a bit off, there's plenty of space in the outfield, obviously, just to pick up those 1s and 2s.
And again, this is what these two batsmen will continue to try and do. And I'm no doubt push them into that position after that 10th over where they can just hold their aces in the deck, for that power surge.
Little punch out there on the onside. Deep mid-wicket coming around. Just 1.
And this is what a solid start does for the Dingoes, not losing any wickets in the power play, being none for. Being able to get into the game without that pressure of actually having limited wickets available.
Short. Another single. We'll look for 2. In and out. Yeah, and they'll get 2.
And that's a really easy 2. These two blokes are not slouches running between wickets. They're very fit. They're very fast.
The other thing, playing for the same club, so they'll have a really good understanding. They'll probably battle with each other for years.
Absolutely. Truloff was under a bit of an injury cloud as well. He copped one into the ribs in the last couple of weeks, and
single.
As we just watched Truloff and McGiffin just turn the strike over ever so easily at the moment. If they keep tracking this far, we're getting 7 or 8 off this over. But yeah, Truloff got a crack rib, and I think there was a few little shudders around the Dingoes camp. Blake Maher was under an injury cloud. Liam Hope Shackley pulled out. Unfortunately, he's dropped that one short, and that should trickle to the. Oh, it doesn't, surprisingly.
Picked eventually, yep.
I think we all thought that would have rolled down to the boundary for 4, Grant. Yeah.
Jack Cooper down there.
Yeah, so the Dingoes have had their injury worries, but obviously the Kings, with their captain Andrew Goad, unfortunately, is a big out for them as well. So they both have had their problems, I guess, leading into the semi-final.
Yeah. Little punch. Just a punch down to long on. Just a single.
Is there a prettier punch in cricket?
Not.
No,
I don't think there is.
I don't know. Like, just watching him just stay still on that ball. His hands are still, but he makes contact ever so late. Just one out there for those young cricketers, or any cricketers really, to know that just punch it down the ground for 1 if you can't get it away. So
2 for 78 after 10. So they can call their power surge now, which is 2 overs with only 2 players out. They can call it any time now in the next 10. So
it's 68 from 60, Grant.
Yeah.
What's your call? What are you thinking? What's your head saying?
My head's saying that the Kings need wickets, and they need these 2 out now because one of the conditions of this competition is that you get a bonus point, which obviously we don't need because we're in a semi-final situation here. But they could easily pick these runs off fairly quickly. Here's Gopi. They need a wicket. And Gopi just could be the man here.
That's a great bit of fielding. They're looking for twos here. The Dingoes have just picked up that if they just keep tracking the way they are right now, they'll, I don't want to put any pressure on them, but they could easily coast this total.
You're quite right.
Especially with that power play. They do not need to take hardly any risks, which is quite uncommon in T20 cricket.
Bold. Well bowled. He's a brave bowler, Gopi. I've seen him in previous games. He throws it up, got hit for a 6, threw it up again, got hit for a 6, threw it up again, and took a wicket. So he's got some courage as a leggy, which you need, being a leggy. A little short, no run. There's a dot.
Well, I like thinking that spinners can often buy a wicket, Grant. You know, you can go down aisle 1, get hit for 6, aisle 2, and then pick up a wicket in aisle 3. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Oh, bold. Lovely flight.
Yeah, just really soft hands there from Trueloff. He sort of punched that one a bit hard the previous ball to cover and couldn't pick up the single. Just waited on it. Slightly softer hands. Giffen's up for the challenge here, backing up. Easy one.
Doesn't look like there's any spin in this pitch. Quick ball there by Gopi. And they'll turn and look for 2. They'll run out on the non-striker's end.
Yeah, they might have just noticed Trueloff not running as hard on his first one there, so they made him push on the second. Maybe testing at that little rib injury.
Nice pick up and throw there by Indy. Sweeping from that deep cover.
Nice bit of fielding at short cover there by Pollock as McGiffin gets back on the back foot. Little back foot cover drive, picks up the 1. So I think we had 1 dot in that over, but we also had a 2. So again, I think 6 coming from it again, Grant. So
62 required now, 54. 2 for 84. That's 11. 9 overs to go. None for 24 for Ramgara off his 3 overs.
Who's the man here for the Kings? Do they throw the ball to someone to try and break something up? Is there someone, a little bit left field here, Grant? Or
I think we're seeing it right now.
Oh.
I think your timing's immaculate.
Because they do need to think outside the box a little bit now, don't they?
They definitely do. Tom Healy will be thinking overtime about who to throw the ball to get this wicket that they badly need.
He's tricked us up with the number 16 on his back because
it is Indy Ranatunga.
He was meant to be wearing the number 5, but
he's Arjuna's nephew, so he's got a pedigree.
That's amazing.
He's got a wonderful pedigree. Plays for the Northern Suburbs Club. He's had plenty of success. And he comes, and this could be the moment. Nice little Dan.
Giffen is playing off the back foot ever so beautifully. He looks to have plenty of time against the spinners. I think with the spinners, you're either coming out trying to meet the ball or you're playing back in your crease. And he seems to be being able to pick up that length really easily, McGiffen, and easily picking out 1s and 2s.
Dot.
That's a great bit of fielding there. I'm not too sure who that was. You could see Trueloff getting on the back foot, and he actually anticipated. He went from backward square to in front of square as he's actually in his shot.
Oh, down leg side and picks out the fielder. That fine leg.
Yeah, he got away with that one because that's where the Dingoes have scored a few boundaries in the last few overs with that short fine leg up. Remeasuring his run-up. Yeah, it's fairly uncommon for a spinner.
Yeah, operating around the wicket too. Looking just to jam that into that middle and leg down. Lovely use of the feet.
Yeah, quick use of the feet. And again, either coming out or playing back in your crease. Don't let the spinner get comfortable. The spinner will be trying. It's a game of cat and mouse, obviously, with spinners. The spinners want them to come out. That's a good thing. Indy be happy with that.
Yeah.
But Trueloff, with the quickness of his feet, was able to meet the ball and flick it through mid-wicket.
that off to one. Fitzgerald down, slides.
You can even hear the mid-off calling out one, making sure that, let's keep these twos to ones or, ones to none. So
keep the energy going in this field.
Who's going to be the man? Maybe a freakish run out, freakish catch here, Grant.
Yep.
Anything.
There, in the air. It's coming our way. O'Neill picks up, returns, just a single.
I couldn't tell if that was a bump ball then into the ground or a scoop up, Grant. I was actually a little bit...
Yeah, I think he got it in the air.
Yeah. Just sliced it up.
So that's 12 overs now. Only 58 needed off the 40. 8 balls left.
Yeah, Renatung only 4 coming from that, so...
You'd be happy with that.
Anytime 4 comes off an over in T20, you're really happy. But I don't think the Dingoes in this particular stage of the game are unhappy with 4 and over. They're needing 58 or 48 balls, so just over a run of ball, they'd be feeling quite comfortable right now.
And Fitzgerald coming back into the attack.
Rob Fitzgerald. Well, he's done it with the bat. He's doing it with the ball. The 38-year-old. Grant, he's your man today, isn't he?
He's my man. I think it's an age thing. I think I love the fact that he's 38, playing like a teenager. He's batted beautifully, and here he comes in. Just a little dab there under the offside.
Well, I don't want to put any pressure on him, but Truloff is my man today. He was the man to look out for, but he has been the man for the Dingoes the entire tournament. I think he's only missed out once or twice. I think he batted down the lineup in a particular game to give some boys some time in the middle as well. He couldn't be out there with a better bloke at the moment, Steve McGiffin.
There's a dot. Just took a little pace off that.
Yeah, McGiffin hasn't missed out hardly at all with that back foot cover drive with 1s and 2s. He's actually picked out Luke Pollock there at short cover pretty easily. He'll be making sure next time he goes to the right or to the left to make sure keep that scoreboard ticking over.
Was that a leg by? Well, yes, the umpire's going to... Yeah, that's a leg by.
Jack Cooper comes around to collect that one.
So bowling this stump line. Fitzgerald trying not to give these two class players any width. He would have picked up a million wickets in his club career, Fitzgerald. Square cut over the top. Will the cover get around? Yes, they will. The deep cover picks up only 2. Good shot for 2.
Yeah, the way that looked, the way it came off the bat, I thought that was actually racing to the boundary ground. He may not have got all of it, but the sweeper fielder out at deep cover came around quite nicely, quite quickly. Yeah, beautiful.
Well in control, aren't they? Off 22 off 20. McGiffin 22 off 21. They're going shot for shot.
Masterclass being put on right at the moment on how to bat in the middle overs of the T20. Again, the big 1 call.
O'Neill in quickly. So, Tommy Healy got a bit of thinking to do. Needs a wicket, but can't give away too many runs at the same time.
He's signalling to someone, warm up.
On. He's just told Pratty, I think.
Deep man at mid-off, I think it was, right at the boundary.
Short, 1 bounce, out to deep square.
Jack O'Neill right in front of us here, fielding it ever so comfortably, 1 bounce.
I think Joey Pratt's got the next over. He's changing him around. He's going to bring him in from the next over from the northern end.
Again, a real tidy over by the Kings. No boundaries. A spattering of singles and a couple of dot balls. But again, the Dingoes can afford to not take too many risks right now. Although, I'd like to hear your thoughts, Grant. When you're 7 overs out, you're needing 53 or 43. Do you try and take the game on early so you're not leaving it to the last couple of overs to take that pressure off? Do you go, right, well, we're going to sort of start pushing now to actually get in front of the game?
No, you don't. I think you take responsibility. You say, I want to be here at the end. I don't want to leave this job to anybody else. We've got the game in control. I know we're a big chance with that power surge still up my sleeve.
Yep.
That I can probably pick up, 10 runs and over in the last 2 overs if I really need it, and particularly if I've got wickets in hand. So I think these guys, they will want to be there at the end of this innings.
All right, that's your call. McGiffin and Truloff to close out the game.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm sure for all the Dingo supporters out there and their owners, Grant Spees, Nick Payne and Kenny Wagner, joint owners of the Dingoes, will be hoping that as well. But I'm sure the owners of the Kings, mate. Who are the owners of the Kings? You got Ian Healy as one?
Yeah, Ian Healy and Dominic Overton and Ian Skyfleet. Full toss. That's how Praddy started his first over.
Oh.
Just lost his radar on that first over. Full toss.
Now, first ball of an over that goes for 4, when the batting team only required pretty much a run a ball, that's a huge amount of pressure now on Pratt. You know, that just alleviates the pressure for McGiffin and Truloff, who we've seen for the number of overs just punch 1s and 2s ever so easily.
This is a free hit. The umpire just called the free hit because it was above the shoulders.
This, in 2 balls a game, can even turn on its head even faster.
Definitely.
So
let's see what happens. Got away with that.
McGiffin
Look for
tried
2. No, call him off. No.
That's a pretty good call.
Yep. No use losing.
I don't think McGiffin would have got back there with that arm. That was a rocket arm coming in.
Of course, the other owner, Laurie Murphy.
Oh,
Laurie Murphy's also an owner of the Northern Kings. There's some big name owners of some of these clubs. And you know what I love about, they're just giving back to cricket.
Yeah, like we've obviously seen names like Darren Lehman, Usman Khawaja, Chris
Shots.
Lynn. That's a beautiful shot. Sam Truloff, carbon copy what he's been doing all tournament, Grant. That is one of the most beautiful cover drives you will see in cricket. But this is what he's been doing. He's able to play proper cricket shots at the right time in the right context. What an amazing shot as Pratt. Oh, punch down to mid-on. Truloff, beautiful shot there.
And just a single. I mean, I'm just not sure what else Tom Healy can do at the moment. He's got his protection. He needs that protection. He needs the wicket. So he's got some players in catching positions. Just doesn't want to run this game down. And
full toss, a really low full toss there by Pratt. McGiffin not able to sort of punch it down to mid-off for 1.
Yes, big name owners out there of the Darling Dingoes. They'll be very happy.
Yeah, not bad for a couple of Sparkies from up in Toowoomba who've got a couple of cricket teams now.
Live wire electrical. And of course, the Wagners need no introduction to the Darling Downs region.
Pushing back for 2. Great running there. And McGiffin just signalled they actually got a touch on that ball, which is a bit of cricket etiquette there, Grant. Never to run once it's hit you, regardless whether or not, it was accidental or not. So,
gentleman's game.
And that's one thing I've actually noticed throughout the whole tournament, the spirit. I haven't actually seen anything untoward happening towards either players, umpires, or it's been really, really nice to watch.
And I'd like to...
Crunch there by McGiffin. Strong wrist down to mid-on. Truloff having a think. Great feeling there.
I'd like to give a big rap to the umpires. Gee, they've been really steady. I haven't seen anything controversial. The decisions have always all been, it seemed to be right to me. So good work.
Yeah,
the umps, unsung heroes.
A fast-paced game without any technology to use. They've got to make decisions real quick. So, yeah, especially our 2 umps out here, Graham Hogan and Daniel Ralston, doing a wonderful job. So, and again, they get to apply their trade too, Grant, in a different format over a number of, short, compact weekends. And hopefully they're enjoying just that different feel, a bit of a carnival atmosphere. So
yeah, what's happening here, Mark Truloff? What's he?
He's going for gloves.
Gloves, is it? Yeah. Because we're now down to 38 off 36 balls. Trill off 28, McGiffin 31. Well in control. Pratt none for 29.
Yeah, Pratt will be really disappointed with that full toss in the first ball, and then Trulloff played one of the shots of the day, with that lofted cover drive, and and that just brings the game right back to a runner ball.
He's got strapping on his right arm. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not quite 100%. He seems to be carrying that right arm a little bit, so he might have brought an injury into the game. But at 2 for 108.
Yeah, Trulloff 28 of 23, McGiffin 31 off 27. So obviously striking over.
Looks like that might be there's a shot of the Northern Kings promo tent.
Picks out the fielder at mid-off, unfortunately, McGiffin. Beautiful shot.
Beautiful flight again by Gopi, well above the eye line there.
Possibly a circumstance with the game in control. Can they leave the power surge to the last 2 overs, Grant? I don't like it personally, but...
Nice having that in the bank, isn't it? Sort of gives you that, sort of feeling of confidence.
It could play into the Kings' hand because obviously they might only be looking for singles, and you've got all the men inside the circle. You've actually got to go either over the top or quite hard through the infield. So, like that.
Oh, Gopi's thrown that up, and that's hit the side screen on the full.
Now, we'll have a quick look at the replay, but that looked to be just slightly over. Was it straight or just over mid-off? Beautiful use of the feet from McGiffin. I like to call him the gift.
Gopi delivered, and then he just had that resignation. I think that's going, and it did. Big 6. Oh!
We nearly saw a 6th and another wicket, which we've seen quite often throughout the game.
The life of a leg spinner.
Oh, Steve McGiffin, the gift that keeps on giving, Grant.
Yes.
Oh, he's really pushed those last 2 through quite quickly.
Well bowled, and he's bowling to McGiffin, who's very well set. Nicely taken by Healy.
Yeah, McGiffin hasn't hardly missed any of those cut shots or back foot cover drives, and he's actually missed 2 in a row, which, shows...
unusual. Well bowled, 3 dots.
Great comeback there by Gopi. After getting absolutely smacked back over his head, which, can happen, and does happen.
And that's what's impressed me. He's thrown the ball after the 6. He threw the ball up again, and then he's used his flight and his variations beautifully. Bloke set, and was able to tie him down. 3 dots the last 3 balls of his over.
32 off 30 balls.
They're going with Cochrane down from the southern end this time.
5 overs remaining, Grant, in the first semi-final.
There's the Wave Riders. Look at the Wave Riders just looking in on. They finished 4th, but they're in the next semi-final.
Yeah, they snuck in on net run rate, I think.
By 1.1.
Yeah, 0.1.
0.14 or 5 or something like that.
I'd like to see who gets the thanks for that. Obviously, someone did a job somewhere throughout the tournament. But
we did that game, and
oh, you did.
Yeah, they ended up losing, but they lost just by enough to get them into the semi-finals.
Oh, what a shot! What an incredible shot. That's nearly a Yorker by Cochrane, and somehow Trulloff is able to get underneath that and hit it over the infield. That is amazing by Sam Trulloff.
I love that one-day shot. He took 1 or 2 paces outside leg stump, down on the right knee, and just followed through over the top of cover for magnificent shot. He's called wide.
Yeah, Cochrane really trying to bowl. It's an interesting place to bowl if he's trying to bowl really wide outside off stump. He's got no protection out here except mid-off, Grant. That one's short. Trulloff gets any bat on that, beats any of these fielders in the ring. That's 4. Yep. So whether or not he's trying to double bluff, I'm not too sure.
shot.
Yes, it's a slashing drive. It's ended up coming over point.
To your point there, Mark, there's plenty of space on the offside. Healy has brought everyone in because they've called the power surge. We may have missed it, Mark, and that's what's happened. They've called the power surge because the fielders are only 2 out.
That's some amateur commentating right there, Grant. We actually didn't even pick up that. I noticed the deep mid wicket and the deep mid on. Oh, no, it can't be. Because
yeah, no, they have 3. Yeah, they've got 3. They'll have 3 out.
In the power surge.
Yeah, they've called it down.
So they're probably saying, well, this is the over. Truloff not relying on his 1s and 2s and punches anymore. Well, he probably is, but just there's no fielders on the boundary.
Well, under a run of ball now, 23 off 27.
Oh, it's a huge, big slashing drive attempt. And that's a bye. Missed everything. Truloff looks really unhappy with that one because he's actually... That's been his sweet spot, hasn't it?
He's just trying to give himself that little bit of room. He stepped outside leg stump. But he missed everything.
Kevin Cochran.
And I was wrong about the power surge because we're not in power surge because they've now pushed them out. More players out, so no.
Yeah, well,
The good news, we didn't miss the signal. The bad news is I got the call wrong on the power surge.
Yeah, with the power surge, you only had 2 out. So, yeah, they had 3, but obviously they're thinking, well, let's make the batsmen do something here.
Yeah.
They're coasting along.
Yep.
I don't mind.
We've got to do something. Yeah.
Tommy Healy's trying to take the game on here because, you know, they can't just let these two just cruise. And that's what they've been doing.
Yes.
Oh, dear oh me. Unfortunately, Cochran straight onto Truloff's pads. Unfortunately, it was a full toss. But fortunately for the Dingoes, he just helped that on his way. What an absolute clinic, Grant O'Hara.
Yes. Look, I can't help but think that the man sitting, well, he's now standing over in front of the dressing room, Andrew Goaty, was such a big out for, well, he was the local hero. He was part of selecting most of these players.
Captain.
He's captain. The reason he picked Gopi Ramgara is because he said, well, a lot of the first graders won't have ever seen him or played against him, so let's pick him. And overall, Gopi Ramgara will be very happy with his tournament. And you know, he's done some really lovely bowling, and I bet he's learnt so much more about cricket having been up here doing this.
And that's the beauty about the BPL. It's providing 800 cricketers across age groups from under 12 to seniors an opportunity to put on the coloured clothing, to play in a big stage, games being streamed, games being televised, you know, really put them in a situation where hopefully some of them haven't experienced before. So, and a bloke like Gopi, you know, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. And I would doubt that any cricketer playing in the senior under-19 comp or any juniors about to play their week will not improve. And hopefully we'll just love cricket even more. So, yeah.
And they had that great concept of the $3 million monopoly money or pretend money, salary cap. They auctioned for these players.
Yeah, and I guess you look at Sam Truloff, he was one of the Dingoes sort of high on the list. They went hard for a few players early and missed out. But yeah, Truloff was, they paid a pretty premium dollar for Sammy Truloff.
I bet they did.
He's paying them back in spades, mate. So,
yes.
So where are we at here? We've got 17 required of 24 balls. Power play surge still to come.
They're evergreen. Fitzgerald back in the attack.
I'm wondering, again, did the batsman even take the power surge?
Yep.
We've got 4 overs remaining here. Truloff 40 off 28. McGiffin 38 off 34. And again, McGiffin just tucking that one off his hip again, finding the gaps.
So, of course, the winner of this goes through to the final this afternoon at 2 o'clock. So if you're in Brisbane, if you're in the Redlands region, get on down here. It's a beautiful day. There's a grandstand you can sit in.
There's catering trucks, there's coffee trucks, there's trucks everywhere. As McGiffin just tucks that one off his hip, slightly in the air, but splits the man at fine leg and mid-wicket.
And now only 11 to win. 11 needed off 22. I think we said that, Mark, didn't we? We said these guys, they were looking to control this innings. I knew that these fellas would want to be here at the end, like any batter.
Well, you've called it beautifully, Grant. You've called it spot on so far. Oh, that's clever cricket,
isn't it?
Oh, they know. You can't put a price on season after season of great cricket with McGiffin and Truloff.
So Truloff 40 off 28, McGiffin 45 off 37. Haven't they had a good tournament, both of those two batters?
Yeah, McGiffin's been, again, surprised he didn't bowl today, but clearly they probably didn't need him with the way that they started the year. And it does Truloff, a front foot cut shot behind square, finds the boundary. He has the ability to find the gaps, Truloff. It's quite uncanny, isn't it, Grant?
Oh, look, he's just got so much time. And so the Dingoes, well, they came second in the competition. They did have one more win than the Kings.
Well, the only team that beat them were the Kings when they put 230 on the Dingoes.
And that's when Josh Brown teed off with a big 100.
Oh, crunch through the covers. Sam Truloff, take a bow. 48 he rolls to. 48 seemingly effortless.
48 or 30, and that's what I just love about this game. Now, back in the old days, that was you considered the Master Blaster. That was Viv Richards stuff. These days, these guys just measure their innings. They do so much accumulation of runs, and then when they need to press the button, they go, and that's exactly what's happened here.
They've changed gears beautifully.
2 to need, 2 runs to win.
Oh, he does it with a beautiful mid-off drive, 4 runs. All the fielders were up trying to save one. Sammy Truloff has been an absolute rock for the Dingoes, and he finishes off the semi-final in absolute style, Grant O'Hara.
What a classic shot. He just gave himself a little bit of, and I love the way the back foot just flung around there, and off it went down for 4. And big win.
And it also, well, we didn't even pick up on it, but it's also brought up his 50 as well. Not his first 50 of the BPL 01, Sam Truloff. He goes to the highest run scorer for the tournament so far amongst all the franchises, and that is a great win by the Dingoes. Dare I say, there's probably only about a 5 or 6 over period when they were bowling where they sort of didn't lose control, but where the Kings probably got the points. They had the points all the way up until the 15th over, and then the Kings fought back well. But the Dingoes really from ball 1 didn't lose any wickets in the power play. Just took control, Grant.
And to all the young players watching, notice how those two experienced players took the responsibility for finishing off the game. They were well in control. There was no way that those two experienced players were going to throw their wicket away in that run chase. And one's ended up with a lovely Sam Truloff, as you said, 52 off 31, and McGiffin 45 off 37. Fitzgerald certainly can hold his head high, none for 32 off 4. He put them back in the game. The Kings got back in the game, gave them a competitive total of around 146, but it ended up being about, I reckon it's 40 runs short.
Oh,
at least.
Yeah, and look, the way that the outfield was, the pace of the outfield, we were probably a little bit surprised they got to 140, but that was really over a 5 over period where they just had to do something really special. But yeah, looking the way the pitch is playing, the way that the batsman played with freedom, and if you peers that infield, you're generally getting a good value for runs. Yeah, you probably would have thought maybe Par might have been 180. How many overs were spare there? There was,
well,
but it could have been more. They just coasted, didn't they? They just coasted. As the batsmen, they shake hands. We're going to try and get Sammy Truloff over here for a quick chat, Grant.
That'd be great.
Yeah, because he's running off into the sheds. He might need to go for a quick toilet break, but he's wearing the number 23, Grant. I'm not too sure if you're aware who's worn 23 in sports in the past.
Oh,
a couple of players.
A couple of big names.
Yeah, you ever heard of him?
Yeah, well, I think Warney might be one of those.
Well, there's another bloke played a bit of basketball over in the States, mate. Michael Jordan.
Yeah, and Jordan. Dermot Brereton. Yeah, Dermot Brereton was one of all the 20. There's the scorecard.
And it's great reading if you're a Darling Dingoes fan. 2 for 148. Sam Truloff finished on 52. Steve McGiffin 45. Arian Jane. 26, and Brandon Faber 16 were the top scorers for the Dingoes. And from a bowling perspective, we had Jack O'Neill 2 for 26, the leading wicket taker for the Kings. Rob Fitzgerald none for 32 off his 4 overs. Joey Pratt. I think Joe may have brought a little injury into his game. So it was. And who we got? Sam Truloff. Sam, congratulations, mate.
Thanks. Cheers.
Now, I said during the call that I really felt that you really wanted to be there at the end of that innings. Is that how was that in your mind as you were going through that?
I think that's just my role in the team. I think I don't have the power that some of the boys up the top do. So my job generally is to sort of go around a ball at the start and see if I can get into the innings and then try and hit some boundaries at the back end. But that's just my role. So happy to do that. And now, do you realise you started your innings, not your innings, the innings of the Kings, 7 slow bowlers you used first up. Was that a pre-planned or it just worked out that way? Definitely pre-planned. I think that's one of our strengths of our lineup is our spinners, and got a couple of guys that bowl really well up front in the power play, and we knew that the Kings top order, if Godey's not playing, they sort of struggle against spin a little bit early doors, so we thought if we get away with a couple early wickets, it really puts them on the back foot because they're pretty top heavy. So. And the conditions? Beautiful wicket. Ball stuck a little bit with the off pace and cross seams, but as always out here at Redlands, there's a bit of a belter. So good wicket. And what are you expecting now? So you go through to the final. You went into that game in second place. Yep. So you now go into the final. How do you think the team's feeling? Yeah, pretty confident. Hopefully, that's a pretty comprehensive win there. The boys got off to a really good start there at the top with AJ and Fabe. So. Set a good platform for myself and Gift to come in, so pretty confident going in. And Sam, can you tell me about being part of this competition and what it's been like for you and for your team? It's been a lot of fun. I think the owners of the Dingoes, obviously from the Darling Downs area, there's not a lot of exposure for them from Brisbane grade cricket, so I know how pumped they are, and they're a top bunch of guys, and I know the boys have gelled really well, obviously coming from different clubs around the competition, but the boys are loving it. It's a great concept, I think. You look like a really tight-knit. Have you all got to know each other well? And Yeah, I think that we obviously, like I said before, we play a lot of cricket against each other in Brisbane grade cricket. So, and we're there's a lot of us that are around the same age as well. So we've obviously played against each other for a little while and played a bit of youth underage cricket and stuff together. So, I'm playing with a bloke I went to high school with, so that I hadn't seen in 5 or so years. So, it's a good way to bring different players together and a good way for other guys to actually experience what it's like, I guess, playing some high quality players. Well, Sam, all the very best for this afternoon. You're now in the first ever Mazda Brisbane Premier League Grand Final. All the best, mate. Happy days. Thanks, boys. Cheers. Thanks very much. That's great having access to the players, and such a great player as Sam Truloff. He'll definitely feature in the final. Mark, what do you make of all this?
Well, what I make of it is that cricket is still the best game in the entire world, Grant, by far. And also just seeing these great amateur cricketers going about their trade in a beautiful, area, locally. It's providing a great opportunity for everyone. And it's got opportunity for communities as well. Obviously this Brisbane Premier League, there's a lot of cricketers coming in from everywhere, putting money back into clubs, as well. So what I make of that is that the Dingoes have been pretty much one of the strongest teams throughout the entire tournament. They got done in by the Kings round 1 when they put 230 on them, and they got one back on the Kings when it mattered. So, yeah, Dingoes versus, is it going to be the Wave Riders or the Magic? Well, Morton Magic, Wave Riders, that game's coming up now. That's up next, and that's first, the Morton Magic versus fourth, the Gold Coast Wave Riders. Banger Bancroft will be on the microphone, and he cannot wait. Yeah, he hasn't stopped talking for about 3 days, mate. He's been doing functions, emceeing events, mate. He's actually... The big churchy luncheon, the big bustling eastern suburbs in dipping quick. Yeah. Looking forward to having him. It's been great working with you, Mark. Grant O'Hara, it's been an absolute pleasure. Tremendous, mate. Yeah, really enjoyed it. I hope they invite us back, mate, and I'll be watching the semi-final and the finals ever so closely. So I look forward to hearing the call, Grant. But Yeah, the final of the BPL. Bring it on.